special presentation of TNN Motorsports. Today in Loudon, New Hampshire, 2 NASCAR races and one man, Mike Stefanik, trying to grab all the headlines. In the NASCAR Busch North Series, he trails defending champion Dave Dion by just 9 points for the series title. In the modifieds, he has a healthy 171-point lead over Rick Fuller. Today, Stefanik continues his fight to accomplish a feat that's unprecedented in NASCAR history. Normally, the fall of the year in New England means everybody's talking about the trees changing colors. But the foliage hasn't quite been the headline here this week, because if you're a motorsports fan, you're talking about one man, Mike Stefanik, trying to do what's never been done before. Let's meet a potential 2-time champion.
Well, Eli, the man of the hour. Heck, let's make that the man of the year in New England racing. Mike Stefanik starts on the outside of row 2. And Mike, you got Dave Dion, your closest challenger in this series, a couple of rows back. Can you keep him there all day?
Well, we're going to try. Dave's a tough competitor, and I got to kind of look where I'm going, because there's going to be a lot of action here. I think this is going to be a great race, and got Ricky Craven right aside of me and a couple good guys right in front of us. So we're going to try to just get sorted out and get some laps in and see if I can try to pick away at some of these guys. But, you know, I'll be aware of where Dave is. I hope he isn't in front of me.
We wish you the best of luck. One of the first things he's going to try to do, guys, is to get down to the inside lane. Now let's go to the front row. Here's my partner, Matt Yoakum.
Glenn starting in front of Steffi, 2 KG Busch North veterans. The last time JB Obie sat on the front row here at New Hampshire was July 1993. He's been winless on the tour for nearly as long. Jamie's taken all season for you to Joe at this team. Do you finally have the package to get back to victory lane?
Yeah, I believe we do. We got a real good team here and a good car today, and we're looking for a little bit of luck. Hopefully we can keep this New England Pontiac right up front and win this thing.
Well, good luck. Starting alongside former Busch North champion Kelly Moore. He's winless since 1995. 8 top 5s in 1997. He, too, looks to return to victory lane. Glenn?
Well, and Matt, way back in the field are 2 of the rising young stars in the Busch North Series. Here's Brad Layton. He's a past winner here. He has been rumored maybe to take over Terry Labonte's Busch Grand National ride in the South. Outside of him, starting at 22nd, here is Andy Santerre. Andy is for sure going south this year. He will race for Mike Laughlin next year, 22nd position. Now let's go back up top. Here's Eli.
Glenn, thank you. And folks, welcome to New Hampshire. This doubleheader, well, they don't get any bigger than this for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour and the Busch North Series. Brett Bodine joins us today. He'll start 3rd tomorrow in the CMT 300. Congratulations on that qualifying run. But let's zero in today and talk about what Mike Stefanik is trying to pull off.
Oh, Eli, he's trying to really be Hercules here this year, trying to win both championships. A very tough job, but he's done so well up to this point. Can he continue that momentum he's had all season? I really think he can. Even though the 2 cars are so different, I think Mike has the focus to concentrate on what each car needs throughout each event today, and he's going to be a contender in both races.
I bet he will. Also joining us on the telecast, a 2-time Motorsports Hall of Famer, Buddy Baker. And, Buddy, there are some pretty big names we've not even mentioned yet on the telecast.
You're exactly right, Eli. Dave Dion in the number 29 car leads the point standings right now by only 9 points. He's also a past winner here. You have Bobby Dragon from Vermont right up the road, won at Nazareth earlier in the year. And Ricky Craven, who drives for the Hendricks Motorsports team right now in Winston Cup, past winner here. He'll be a big player today. You can count on it.
Well, folks, you've come to the right place if you like your motorsports with a lot of different storylines. We've got lots coming your way this afternoon. And coming up in just a moment, a look at the starting lineup. We'll take you around the Speedway with our in-car cameras. It's all next on TNN Motorsports. We're coming right back. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the CMT Twin 100's from New Hampshire International Speedway is brought to you by Just for Men, the leader in men hair coloring. Blends away gray in 5 minutes. And by the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Let's Let's take a look at the starting grid for today's NASCAR Busch North Series portion of the doubleheader. Jamie Obey, a three-time series champ, and the 95 champ Kelly Moore. Ricky Craven and Mike Stefanik, who is 9 points down to Dave Dion in the series standings. Ted Christopher doing double duty today, and Denny Doyle. There is the 96 champion Dave Dion, and Bobby Dragon, who won at Nazareth. Steve Honick and Pete Rondo, who was 7th earlier this year when we were here at New Hampshire. They'll make up row 5. Martin Truex won here in 94, and Jerry Marquis, who won here back in July. Rick Fuller, he's second on the Featherlight Modified Tour points. Herb Drug, he was 8th at Thompson. There's cousin Eric. Eric Bodine, he starts in row number 8. And Franklin Butler is 5th race of the year. Wayne Anderson and Dale Quarterly in row number 9. Phil Rondo and Matt Hutter, he's in row number 10. You heard about Brad Layton earlier, and Tom Carey in a former Dale Shaw car. There's Andy Santerre. Tracy Gordon has already picked up Rookie of the Year honors here in 1997. That battle is done. Looking to row number 13, Tom Bowles and road racer Joe Pezza. From the Spencer family, there's Ed Spencer and John Cervone. Row number 15, Kim Baker, second at Watkins Glen, and a former American Canadian Tour Rookie of the Year, Dennis Demers. Brad Bennett, he replaces Robbie Crouch in the number 6 car. And Ryan Wall, he's got Steve Byrd here helping him this weekend. Adam Friend and James Brown. He feels good coming into the field today. Dale Shaw visiting from the NASCAR Busch Series. He's the 94 champion, and Mike Gallo is here. Mike Olson and Jason Manafort. That's row number 19. Then on down, the remainder of the starters. Dean Crystal, Marshall Hurley. The veteran Stanley Stub Fadden. 4 wins and 181 starts in this series. Glenn Brio, Billy Penfold, and the V6 of Barney McRae. Still championing around in that V6, Brett. God bless him. It's tough to do.
Yes, it is. Very under horsepower, particularly here at the racetrack, as long as straightaways are here at New Hampshire.
Wayne Anderson will be carrying cameras for us today as we head around the Speedway. Denny Doyle will be doing likewise for us in the number 30 machine. There's a look from his car. Tom Carey is approaching turn number 3. He'll have the in-car look for us. Mike Olson will as well. Brian Wall and Herb Drug in the number 90, all carrying cameras, and we're set to go racing. Green flag is in the air, the first of 100 laps for the NASCAR Busch North Series here in Loudon, New Hampshire. Ricky Craven's on the move in the 25. Swapping up around the top spot, buddy, right off the bat.
Yeah, you can see Ricky Craven in the red car there. He moved in the second as he started in turn 3 and made a nice pass going in through the corner there.
But Jamie Obey shows the way, leading lap number 1 of the 100. 51 is Stefanik. He's battling with the 29 Dave Dion on the track and for the title.
What Mike Stefanik spoke of, he didn't want to happen, just did. Dave Dion drove by him on the inside. And, buddy, they talked earlier about wanting to get to the inside lane. Mike Stefanik couldn't do it. He was trapped in the outside, and the inside lane is the premier spot here at New Hampshire.
You can see him hugging the inside of the racetrack, and the reason for that is they have a sealer around the bottom part of the racetrack, the black part of the track. As you can see, as they start into turn 1 there, just above there is the old surface, and it's very slick out there because of different things building up. Look at Ricky Craven trying to take the lead, Eli.
Craven's in the 8, Jamie Obey in the 25. Pushing him is Kelly Moore in the 47. So a new leader here at New Hampshire. On lap number 3, Ricky Craven will take over the top spot, and that is to the delight of the New England fans. But here comes another Maine native. Kelly Moore doesn't get him at the stripe. So this is going to be a heck of a battle.
Kelly Moore took advantage of Craven slipping up down there in the 3rd and 4th turn and just took that inside lane away from him coming off the turn.
The 13 car there of Ted Christopher also had the thought maybe he might want to try to make it 3 wide going in the corner. Wisely backed out. He's running 3rd and very comfortable right now.
Christopher is one of 4 men doing double duty here today. He, along with Rick Fuller, Jerry Marquis, and Tom Bowles, running both ends of the doubleheader. Kelly Moore leading lap number 4.
everybody down right on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where all the grip is. And as we see, Ricky Craven getting a better bite off of turn 2, and he's going to make a run at Kelly Moore going down the back straight.
If he can get up to that door, it's easy to make the pass going in the corner. The lower part of the racetrack is the preferred line. You can see Kelly Moore just gave way there.
Meanwhile, middle of the field, there are some changes. Brad Lee, the 55 machine, trying to work his way up. That's in 16th. You have Dale Quarterly in the 60. We're riding now with Wayne Anderson as well in car number 1. He's in 17th spot, and there he is to the inside of the 35 machine, number 35. That's Pete Rondeau.
Eli, some of those cars are a lot faster than where they qualified.
Sure.
They just had bad qualifying efforts, and they're really charging through the front through these cars.
Tom Carey in the 42, the same machine that Dale Shaw drove to victory here in the past. Carey getting Dale Shaw's equipment when Dale moved south. Shaw tried to get that car back for the weekend, and Tom said, I don't think so.
The yellow and blue car, the number 44 there, is a local favorite here, Andy Santerre. He looks like he's moving up pretty well, too.
Up front, Ricky Craven is still the leader. As we watch this good battle, middle of the field, there's Santerre in the 44. He's in 21st spot. There again, the battle for the lead. Craven, after Moore led a lap, reassuming the top spot in the number 8 car. Kelly Moore second, Ted Christopher third, Jamie Obey is fourth, and look at this battle right here. 3 wide, middle of the field.
That can't last. They'll have to get at least 2 wide going in the corner there. As you can see, I'm dropping back there.
Joe Pezza, the 32, wisely got off the button. Number 4 making his move now. That's Dale Shaw. And visiting after superb performances with 8 top 10s and 12 races in the Busch Series since heading south to drive for James Finch.
He really adapted well in a hurry to the radial tires. You know, these tires that they run here in the Busch North are a bias ply tire. McCrary's a spec tire. Everybody's got to run on the same stuff. But he really adapted well to the radials and the racetracks he never saw.
Good thing about the tires they use for this tour is that McCreary tries to keep the dollar price relatively reasonable at $125 a copy, and they do use those on a regular basis on the NASCAR Busch North Series. We are early, 9 laps complete of the 100. Ricky Craven and Kelly Moore swapping the lead on an unseasonably warm fall afternoon here in New Hampshire. Welcome back. The CMT Twin 100's live at New Hampshire International Speedway. There you see the leader now, Kelly Moore, at lap number 11. Here's how he got around Ricky Craven.
Well, you can see right there, Craven's coming off turn 4 there. He gets a nice run, Kelly Moore does, in the white car there. You see he gets off turn 4 a little bit better, has that low line going down into turn 1, and it's just a matter of time when you have the preferred line going in the corner. You can see Craven turn back down, trying to get back up under him, but Moore was having nothing to do with it.
The top 6 have all won races here at New Hampshire in the past. Kelly Moore there in the 47, Craven in the 8, the number 13 of Ted Christopher, Jamie Obey in the 25, Dave Dion in the 29, and Mike Stefanik in the 51. The top 6 right now, all previous winners here at New Hampshire.
You know, Eli, right now it looks like it's easier to run second because the second place car, he'll pass the leader, and then that guy will be right back underneath him. Oh, there's Cousin Eric getting a little sideways off of turn 4.
He tried to hang on to the Quarterly machine there in the 60. Oh, and around they go. Around they go. The 99, Steve Hoddick getting together there with Cousin Eric. Tom Bowles makes an unscheduled pit stop, and we are under caution. All of this taking place at lap number 15 as Kelly Moore brings them back to the stripe, and kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah, he sure did. You know, I think what happened there, I don't think Hoddick knew they were 3 deep. There was 2. I don't believe he knew there was 2 cars inside of him.
He had Quarterly on the apron.
Exactly, and he went into the corner thinking he was in the second lane where he really needed to be in the third lane.
Well, actually, when you go in there 3 wide like that, there's not really a choice. You're going to wreck if you stay out there, so you're trying to squeeze down and make the cars on the inside move over for you, and that's what happened. Just a big wreck.
And there's the aftermath. Steve Hoddick getting together with Eric Bodine. They bring out the caution. Lap number 15. First caution of the day in New Hampshire. TNA TNN Motorsports live coverage of the CMT Twin 100 from New Hampshire International Speedway is being brought to you by Porter Cable Professional Power Tools for when you're truly passionate about your work. Under caution here at the New Hampshire International Speedway, Steve Hoddick's car still hooking up to the wrecker. And Brett, why don't we take a look at what happened here coming through the corner?
Well, they got a little crooked coming off of turn 4, and then they end up 3 wide going into the first turn, and the 60 car down there in the bottom. I don't believe Hoddick knew that there were 3 deep getting in there, and he just turned the car down trying to get in to the corner in the second lane, and there just wasn't room for 3 race cars.
And up he goes to smack the wall on caution at lap number 15. We'll take another look at it for you as it comes head on towards the corner.
Well, you can see Bodine there in the 21. He's caught in the middle. He really can't turn down. He's trying to hold his line. The outside car, the 99 there, starts down, and Hoddick, he just realized that he was in a lot of trouble. They made contact. And once you get up in that loose stuff on the outside, you don't get it back. You hit the outside wall.
Now let's take a listen at exactly how it sounds. Anderson decelerates, accelerates, and gets out of Dodge in a hurry. We told you about an unscheduled pit stop for Tom Bowles. He came in at the moment of the accident, Glenn, back on lap 16, and the hood's up, we see.
Yeah, Eli, the car is completely dead. It will not start. They have tried both ignition boxes. They do have a spare, and it just simply won't start. When the car came out, Tommy was on pit road. He wisely went on around, came on through, came back in so he could stop under caution. But when he came through this time, the car was not running and will not fire. Let's go further down pit road. Here's Matt.
Well, Glenn, for Ricky Craven, it's kind of deja vu to the last time he raced here at New Hampshire in the Busch North car back in July. If you remember, he was running second and finished second to Jerry Marquis. The car was a little bit loose that day. His crew chief, Kevin Caldwell, reminds him, look, we've got a long way to go. Save those tires. So right now he's riding along. He says the car is great. We're just going to ride. As far as Stubb Fadden, he came in while we were away at break. His car a little too tight off the corner. 3 rounds of wedge for Stubby. They dropped the pin on bar 2 rounds. He's back out on the racetrack.
And everybody trying to make themselves into a strong position for the final run to the season-ending race, because after today there's only one more event for the Busch North Series, and that's on the road course up at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. So a very pivotal weekend, especially for those who are a little more comfortable on the oval tracks than they are on the road courses. Pit stop still taking place. Eric Bodine is in, so too Barney McRae. We'll update you further on those stops as our day continues. Don't forget, coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, NASCAR Garage on the air right here on TNN Motorsports. You can check out what all the leading motorsport publications are calling one of the best shows on racing. So tune in later today at a special time. Notice that, 6 o'clock Eastern this evening, NASCAR Garage right here on TNN Motorsports. With Buddy Baker, Brett Bodine, Glenn Jarrett, and Matt Yoakum. I'm Eli Gold. The field getting the 1-to-go signal from Billy Ryder. We'll be going racing here in just another lap or so. Talk about the progression of your cousin, Eric Bodine. You mentioned he was involved there in that shunt a couple of times, but where is he now as far as the direct? Oh, look at that. We'll get back to Eric in a second, but Brett, do you have that air freshener in your car too?
No, I don't, Eli. To be honest with you, sometimes you do need that.
That's Mike Olson.
Mike Olson, right? That's a sponsor there,
Yeah.
Little Tree.
Little Tree.
It sure is. That's a different way to get your sponsor's idea across. Talk about cousin Eric quickly. How has his progression come here in '97?
He's done a great job, and finally this year he's got some funding behind him, letting buy some newer equipment, and he's a lot more equipped and really ready to go racing. Matt, why don't you talk a little bit more about Eric?
Well, Brett, I talked to your brother Todd, and he told me that Eric's car, the front fender was pushed in, so they pulled that out. They thought the alternator belt had come off. They looked at that. That was fine. So they made just a little bit of adjustments on the fender, and he's back out there. They also topped it off because they are very close on fuel, whether they can go the entire distance. So precautionary measures, they topped it off.
And now on the green, the lead machine sneak quickly to the inside, and here goes Ted Christopher as he now works himself through traffic. He's in the white number 13.
Boy, Ricky Craven got the world's worst restart there. Got caught on the outside, moved back in the field there. You see Christopher taking over the spot there to move into the second. Here comes Jamie Obey on the inside trying to get by Craven. I tell you what, when you miss it on the start, that's what happens. He dropped 4 positions there.
You got Obie in that black 25, then Craven, then Dion in the 29, followed by Stefanik in the 51. And here he comes now with the 30 right behind him. Was that a good run? Denny Doyle.
There's Obie trying to make a run on Christopher going down into turn 3. He's got the inside lane. Whoa! old Ricky had to be on his toes there and jack on the brakes to keep from running in the back of Ted Christopher, who wanted to get back on that inside lane, and here he comes right back on the inside of Obie.
Well, he's got him now. The one thing Craven will do is move right in there, close that spot up, and take the spot away from Jamie Obie as they go through turn 2.
Let's see if Jamie can get in. Nope. Dave Dion quickly closes the spot in the 29. Obie driving for John Swanson after for so many years fielding his own efforts. Pretty strong there, but he washes out a bit in the corner.
Just cannot get the grip on that on the outside lane there, and he just tried to hold the spot but couldn't keep it low enough, and he's getting past some more because the cars are lined up behind him.
Denny Doyle, we were riding with him there for a second in the number 30. And regretfully for Jamie Obie, you don't even have to force your way by. The car's just washing out, leaving the inside groove open. He has power, as you see there, on the straightaways, but he's not working in the corners now.
Yeah, as you see him right there, Obie's just about a half a car length up right now. He can close the door because the 30 car right at the moment is not able to make the move, but down the straightaway has good forward bite. Obie's in trouble again for another spot.
And Doyle will get by. Bobby Dragon's in the 7 right there.
Jerry Marquis in the 15, the red car there in the spot, moving up also.
Going behind the wall now as the attrition rate grows is Mike Gallo. He'll be the 3rd retiree thus far, joining Dean Crystal and Steve Hoddick.
Obie finally got back in line, and he'll get himself gathered up here, composed, and try to start setting a good rhythm again, try to work his way back to the front, take advantage of someone ahead of him that slides out.
He's in 9th there now, just ahead of Martin Truex in the 56, who is a former winner here. And behind Truex is the 55. You got a quick look there at Brad Layton, who started 21st right there in the 55, and he's challenging for 10th spot right now. And Glenn, that might be the quickest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, guys, he is definitely quick. He had a bad qualifying lap, and they had a few things they wanted to change on the car. They changed those. They did not get any practice after they qualified, but they had some things that they knew would work. They put them under the car, and boy, they feel like they got a car can win the race. Right now, it looks like he certainly does. That caution helps him catch up to the rest of the field, to the leaders, and I think he's going to be contending for this win before this day is over.
A lot of guys battling now for positions. Here goes Layton. Can he get inside of Truex? Nope. Had he made that move, he would take it at himself and Martin both.
Had he been on radial tires, that would have been it right there. You can't do that on radials, but on tires like you're running today, they have soft sidewalls. You can get the car sideways and drive it back out of it. That's the nice part of running a bias-ply tire.
Got a real big group of cars coming off of turn 2. These guys have been bunched up for a couple laps. It's a real scramble.
Yeah, Brad Bennett there in the 6, and the rest of that group, they are running from 17th on back. Oh! Bennett goes around. Compliments of the punt and the caboose from Dale Shaw. Caution is on the Speedway. Brad Bennett, who took over mid-season from Robbie Crouch, and oh, look behind him.
Big trouble behind him here.
Big wreck. There's plenty of room. Just back it down and stay in line.
And we are under caution clearly for a series of problems up there in the turn.
That's James Brown in the 27 there. He's got a lot of damage to the nose of that car. You can see the radiator's busted. That's the steam coming out of the front and the water running across the racetrack.
But again, it all began when Dale Shaw in the number 4 hit the back of Brad Bennett's. All happening at lap number 29. The thing that folks at home can't quite understand, and how it is with radio communication this day,
Brett, let's talk
a half lap back, guys are still getting an accident.
Let's talk to him about what's happening right now. You see the 6 car there. He's on the brakes. That's Dale Shaw in the 4. He comes up there. Right at that point, you're on the brakes. The back's very light. Dale Shaw barely touched him, but it was enough to turn him around. And back behind him, there's people trying to slow down, give signals, but this is what happens. You get a chain reaction.
So James Brown, you see sitting there with all the water venting out of the radiator. He is done for the day, and we are under caution as Kelly Moore, who took the lead at lap number 11, still has the top spot at lap 30.
That's me, Bill. Here we are at the Super 8. Next time I'll get 2 rooms. See you soon.
For reservations, call 1-800-800-8000.
Cleanup continuing out in turns 3 and 4 after the accident that followed the Dale Shaw and Brad Bennett get together. There you see James Brown's machine, what remains of it, being towed back towards the garage area, joining Dean Bristol, Steve Hoddick, and Mike Gallo as those already behind the wall. Don't forget, once this race wraps up, we've got 100 laps for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. That is coming up in just a short while. The stop-and-go paddle is out green for those who are making their pit stops. And let's take another look at exactly what triggered things out there in the corner.
Okay, Brad Bennett in the 6th there. He goes down in the corner. Just behind him, Dale Shaw, and the 4 car comes right up behind him.
The Shaw kind of takes his foot off the brake and try to get it roll through the corner a little quicker, and he just got very lightly into the back of the 6 car. And like you said, buddy, it didn't take much because, you know, they're decelerating in the back of the car's light, and around he went.
You know, is doing awfully well. We've not talked much yet about the number 77 machine, but certainly Brian Wall is deserving of a call here. Started 32nd and now finds himself running in the 16th spot. And Glenn Jarrett, we had mentioned earlier that throughout the course of this year, Wall has gotten some assistance from Steve Bird from the NASCAR Busch Series. Birdie, as everybody calls him.
Yeah, Eli, and it's starting to show off here today. In fact, you mentioned that Steve is here. He is up top spotting for Brian, and I tell you, I can't think of anybody that I would rather have in my corner or in my pit space than Steve Bird. He's won the Busch Series championship down south for the last 2 years. Got a good handle on winning it again with Randy LaJoie. So Birdie came up. His dad, Amos, is in the hospital. I know he's watching us. Say hello to Amos, and hope you get well soon. Big race fan, a longtime official up here in the New England area. So Steve has certainly made an impact on what Brian Wall is able to do today.
No doubt about it. As we make the ride around the Speedway with the 77, you got a quick glimpse of the spotters. They are atop the press box, which is atop the main grandstand here at New Hampshire International Speedway, and that really gives them quite a view. And Brett, I guess we just can't overemphasize what having an extra pair of eyes means to you guys at full speed with 38 others around you.
Well, exactly. These spotters, the addition of a spotter to the team has really helped drivers avoid accidents, avoid trouble. You know, someone blows a motor and the spotter happens to see it. Maybe the officials don't even see it. When your spotter catches it, can instruct you not to go into the lane where the oil might be. Really can help keep you out of a lot of trouble, and it's really been a great safety item for the teams.
The other part, they also take lap times, and if you change your line around the racetrack and you get faster, they'll say, hey, you're faster on the high side, low side, or maybe come off the corner a little different. They'll say that was much better. They really help you not only in the wreck problems, but also to keep you up to speed during the day.
When you first broke in, buddy, the spotters, I guess they use smoke signals in those days?
Smoke signals, yeah. Big blankets and a lot of wood.
But, you know, you guys, in all seriousness, spotters are really somewhat new, and that's it's a luxury you didn't have your entire career.
Well, I was lucky enough to experience it because I quit in '93, so they had a lot of spotters and stuff. But I will tell you that it is so much easier to put your dependence on somebody that you know is paying 100% attention to what's on the racetrack.
Track cleanup is continuing, so we're going to break away and take care of some business. We're working lap number 35 of 100. We're coming right back. The green flag having flown just a half lap ago. Kelly Moore is the leader. Here's the battle for second. Ricky Craven in the 8th, trying to grab it away from Ted Christopher, and he does.
Well, you got a great run off that second turn, buddy, and just drove it down in the 3rd turn. Real hard to get by.
Well, if he's saving tires, he's not letting anybody but himself know it, because he's making a move now to take the lead on the inside there. Kelly Moore on the outside in the white car has no choice but to let him go to Ted Christopher in the 13, also making a move to try to take second place away.
So it'll swap around here at lap number 38. Craven led lap 3, led lap 5 through lap 10. and Ricky again in the top spot here at 38. We told you Tom Bowles had had a series of problems earlier, and Glenn, I see the car behind the wall. What's up?
Yeah, they're pushing it back now, Eli, and Tommy's out of the car standing here. This is the last place he wanted to be. Tom, what happened?
Looks like the primary ignition system gave out about 20 laps, 10, 15 laps into the race. We switched over to secondary ignition system, and that was going good for a little while, but then that shut down. And the guy tried to put some other ignition system in, but we must have shorted out some wires inside the car, so we're just out of business. I hate it for Fisher Snowplows. They came on board for this weekend. We were hoping to show good on TNN for them, but hey, these things happen to racing, and what we're going to do, go home and start over and come back next week.
And at least he did get Fisher Snowplow's name on TNN today.
He did just that, and Tom will be in the modified event in a short while. You see the 55, Brad Layton, losing to both Quarterly in the 60 and Denny Doyle in the 30. Could have lost a whole lot more than that, buddy.
I'm telling you, anybody, this guy had great car control. He was completely sideways. He's looking out the right door to go straight just then. That car was completely sideways coming off turn 4. He stood in the gas and got it back straight.
Rookie of the year in this Busch North Series a year ago. A year before that in 95, he was the champion of the American Canadian Tour. Take a look at this again, Brett. You can appreciate what Layton was trying to hang on to here.
Well, he got a little help from behind from the 60 car and just caught the car wonderfully. Got it sideways again, stayed in the throttle, and just kept it out of the fence. He did a great job.
Do you try and drive through that, or are you just spraying at that point?
Well, on a bias tire, you can get in the throttle and save it. With the radial, you're just going to have to steer into it, and hopefully it doesn't slide in the fence.
That's Dave Quarterly, the 60 car. He's giving everybody a little peck when he gets to him there. But you know what? He's going to run into somebody just as determined in just a second here.
Dale Quarterly, of course, a many-time champion on the motorcycles. He was a two-wheeler for so many years. Then got the sponsorship from Ocean Spray that Dale Shaw used to ride with. And let's see what he does here with Bobby Dragon.
Well, his car's working. Yeah,
he did it again.
And again.
And again.
And he's still there. He's not making friends today, I can guarantee you that. But he's getting the job done. He's going right to the front.
He's going to move into the 8th spot now as he gets around Dragon and lets Layton come with him in the 55.
Well, just 2 laps ago, Brad Layton got a little assist down there, and you see right now, he is really whacking him as they go down the back straightaway.
Let's see what happens here. This is right now 9th and 10th spot. Dale Quarterly and the 55 of Layton.
Quarterly's car's really working well from the center corner out. He's rolling through the center real well. He can jump back in the throttle. I think Layton's going to have a hard time hanging with him.
We're watching these two gentlemen battle here for 8th and 9th spot right now. We've not forgotten about the battle for the championship. Dave Dion in the 4th spot in car 29. Stefanik right behind him in number 51. They're 4th and 5th. Only 9 points separate them, with Dion leading Stefanik in the standings with this race and then a race in Lime Rock, Connecticut to wrap up the season.
And just behind them in the 15 car, I guarantee it won't be long before Jerry Marquis moves into a position here. He's been moving up, just steady, taking care of his car, and we all know he is the winner.
We've seen him win right here on TNN Motorsports at this very racetrack. He won here in July, if you were with us, as part of the NASCAR Winston Cup weekend. Now the 7, that is Dragon. We talked about him. The 44 is Santerre. The 77, Brian Wall. The 1 is Wayne Anderson. They are all battling now for 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th spots.
You saw Dale Shaw there try to take a peek on the outside. You just can't get the grip, buddy. There's just not enough traction out there to make any kind of move on the outside line.
You can tell when they go down in the corner, just like Bobby Dragon there, the green car. You see him slipping just as he goes in there, but not enough to get in that bad line. Just a half a car length out, it really starts giving up side bite.
It's Brian Wall. He's working all over the back of Bobby Dragon. He's done a great job today.
Riding with Wall. Very talented youngster. We talked about him earlier. There's George Anderson in the number 1 car right behind. Working lap 48, just 52 to go. This race going by in a hurry. Oh, a little smoke there from Wall's machine. You see that as he went through the corner?
It's out of the left side of the car, but it looks like it might be in the gear section part of the car there. And we won't speculate because we certainly don't know from up here what it is. But you can see smoke coming out of the 77 car as he heads down in the corner. And it's also down the straightaway, so he's got a problem there.
And they've got the black flag out for him now as he comes off turn number 4. And Billy Ryder gives him the black flag. You see it right there. Glenn, what's the fuel situation? We're halfway home. Any of the front runners figuring they're going to have to stop?
I checked with them in that last caution, and everybody said they're good to go. So the situation is, if we're halfway there, they better not have burned more than half of their fuel because none of them are planning on stopping. We're going to work our way down to Brian Wall's pits right now, see if we can find out what the problem is. He just got the black flag, so we'll see if we can find out what it is and report back.
And there's Stefanik looking on the inside of Dave Dion, getting down into turn 1.
With Terry Marquis coming right up under as Dion moves out to the outside.
That's 4th. Give Marquis 5th. Move Dion back to 6th that quickly. That's how quickly it's swapped around there. Stefanik and Marquis now side by side. Marquis closing right in. See what he does as we're halfway home. There you see the point situation.
Terry Marquis got a really nice car right now. His car's working real well through the center and getting off the corner strong.
You can see the left front on the 15 car, Marquis staying right on the yellow line through the corner, making a move on Stefanik whether he has enough power down the straightaway. No, he thought better of it and dropped that back in.
Still have half the race to go, though, so there's no rush here. Ricky Craven still leading with Ted Christopher 2nd. 3rd is Kelly Moore. Then Stefanik and Marquis. Jamie Olby is running in 6th. There is Ricky Craven. He's getting gone, Matt.
Eli, I talked to Kevin Caldwell's creature. He told me the reason that Ricky went ahead and took over the top spot because his car picked up an arrow.
Bring it right down, David.
Obviously, there's a problem now with the 8 car.
Dave Dion, a major problem. The right front is gone. It's taken out sheet metal. How about this for the championship to change around here?
Boy, this is just a tough break for your point leader, Dave Dion. You know, he slowed down there a couple laps before that, buddy. Evidently, the tire was going down. And obviously now he's got big trouble. Going to get this thing down in pit road and try to get some tires on it. No yellow flag, though, so this is a green flag stop.
Of course, as the top man in points, he's pitting all the way down at the turn 1 end of the pit road.
Eli, they'll have to get that fender off there and get him back in this race somehow because, like you say, the point standing's up for grab here. You can see him getting the right front ready to put on there, but they'll have to shear that fender off before they can do anything. He said as they didn't do it.
Dave was in 6th, Glenn, when the problem happened.
Yeah, he was, Eli. I've made my way down to the very end of the pit wall so I can get a better look. And you're exactly right, buddy. They're taking the snips to it now and cutting that right front fender off. He has gone 1 lap down. And the air hose was hung on the front, and it tripped his brother Roger, who's the crew chief. He's okay. He's up and around. But, boy, he took a tumble there. They sent Dave out. I don't think Roger was ready for him to go.
And that is likely going to require a return to pit road. You see something hung up beneath the machine as well. So right now, Dion is in 32nd, and that's how the points are at this very second. He goes from 9 up over Stefanik to 78 down, and there is going to be a stop-and-go penalty, certainly, as Dion comes back down the pit lane. So does Brian Wall, as you watch Ricky Craven, who will be able to put yet another lap on Dion as he makes the stop-and-go penalty stop here at lap number 56.
That's a real shame. You know, it went from bad to worse. Just a slight miscalculation there in the pits that got the air gun hung up on the fender to cost him another lap coming down pit road again.
There's the stop-and-go penalty. You might have seen a white car coming down pit road just behind Dion. That's Brian Wall, who's back back in again, Glenn.
Yeah, he is, Eli. I was just talking to Roger Dion. He's got a bloody lip from the spill he took. We're still down in Dave's pits, but I talked with Brian Sputz. He's got an oil leak. They can't find it. They thought they'd stopped it a while ago. Sent him back out. When he pulled away, there was a nice little puddle of oil under the car there. The NASCAR official said, bring him back in. So he's back in. They'll see if they can find that oil leak, put a stop to it. Dion's folks are awfully upset down here. Second week in a row that this has happened to them, where they've got a stop-and-go penalty for snagging the air hose. It wasn't a deal that they were in that big of a hurry. It's just that when the guy got back out with the air hose back around the front of the car, it hung on that torn fender. So not much you can do. And we understand that Ted Christopher now is our new leader.
He took advantage of Marshall Hurley, who was the race traffic that kind of held Ricky Craven up for just a moment. So 13 Christopher finally getting around Ricky Craven. A swap of the lead at lap number 58 here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Welcome back to New Hampshire, the CMT Twin 100's. That man, Ted Christopher, by 9/10 of a second now, has the race lead over Ricky Craven. Christopher taking over the top spot at lap 59. There is Craven, who has led many of the laps here this afternoon. But Christopher, you know, he might be one of the more talented guys who a lot of folks up here certainly know of, but is now beginning to build a national reputation, Brett.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He got a couple opportunities to drive some other vehicles. Drove a truck at Watkins Glen and ran real strong in it. I think he's going to be one of the next guys picked out of this Busch North division to be taken down south.
And he'll also be in the Featherlight Modified Tour race coming up later today. Ted Christopher will. Meanwhile, Dave Dion there in the 29. He is now running back in 34th position. He is being shown almost 4 laps down. And Glenn, that might be the costliest problem that they've had all season, certainly.
Oh, absolutely, Eli. And I know we've seen blown tires. We see them every week in the race. But this one here may very well have cost Dave Dion this Busch North Series championship this year. Dave said that the tire wasn't cut. He said going down the backstretch, it started shaking, vibrating really badly. It just blew when he got to the third turn. There was nothing he could do. It wasn't cut. It's not overly worn. They had a problem like this, exactly the same thing last week at Thompson. So it seems to be something. I don't know. It might be in the tire. It might be in the setup of the car. But I tell you what, Dion's people are not happy about it.
So there you see the numbers now. Dion is 90 down after being 9 points up when the afternoon began. Meanwhile, while we were gone, Herb Drug had a problem on the Speedway. Watch this for the number 90 machine.
Well, as they start off turn 4 of the 90 car here, you'll see he gets a little assistance from the back there. Kelly Moore gives him a little tap, goes around, gets control again, never really backs off. Just keeps on going. That avoids a big problem.
And that was nice for Herb, too, because he has one car, one engine. That's it. I mean, that's the whole Herb Drug operation. He's all there.
He can't afford to tear anything up.
Not at all. Ted Christopher is the race leader. He works around slower traffic now, putting yet another lap on John Serbone. We're just 32 laps from the finish. A warm day here in New Hampshire.
He doesn't really talk about his hair, but I know he thinks about it. I've seen him check it in the mirror. That's why he uses Pantene Pro-V shampoo and treatment conditioner to help keep his hair strong. The Pro Vitamin formula penetrates root to tip, improving hair, keeping it looking really healthy, shiny, strong. I notice a difference now. He does too. Pantene Pro-V, for hair so healthy it shines.
Adjustable rear suspension, 600cc, fully automatic transmission. Grizzly by Yamaha, the ultimate ATV.
Back with you at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Ricky Craven has taken what had been a 9/10 of a second deficit and has whittled it down to what you see there. 13, Ted Christopher is the race leader. Ricky Craven in the number 8 running second. Kelly Moore is third. Mike Stefanik is fourth. Jerry Marquis is now fifth. Closing in on him is Brad Layton, who is running in 6th spot now. Jamie Obey is 7th. Dale Quarterly is 8th. Andy Santerre is 9th. And Denny Doyle is now in the 10th spot. 11th is Bobby Dragon. Martin Truex is 12th. Wayne Anderson now running in the 13th spot. And Rick Fuller is 14th. Rounding out the top 15, Dennis Demers. There's Wayne Anderson in the number 1. That's the Vecchio Racing team that Wayne drives for sporadically here in Busch North Series competition. Mostly, though, Matt Yoakum, we see him on the Slim Jim All-Pro Tour.
That's correct, Eli. Florida's Wayne Anderson, because not to be confused with Wayne Anderson is the modified champion up in the Northeast. Wayne Anderson from Wildwood, Florida, told me this morning his game plan today was ride and log miles. He says, I don't have a lot of seat time here. I'm going to latch on to the bumper on any veteran I see. He's latched down to the back of Martin Truex's 51 car for the last 25 laps, logging miles, currently in 13. His name has been circulated around the truck and Busch Series as a possible driver next season. He's done some testing for a couple Busch and truck teams, and he hopes next year he'll be running an entire schedule in one of those 2 NASCAR series.
And there's another fellow, Matt Hutter, whose name has been circulated for future driving opportunities as well, but he slowed and went way high towards the wall in turn 3. He's just coasting on around. Let's see what happened to him.
Well, he hit the wall coming off turn 2 pretty hard. You can see right there, bam, into the outside wall. Number 39, Matt Hutter, hard into the wall.
But it did not bring out a caution, but it will cause an unscheduled pit stop at lap 74, just 26 laps from the finish. Now Ted Christopher having to work some race traffic, works around Eric Bodine.
Yeah, that stop by Eric early in the race really cost him. Lost a lot of track position, and the leaders were able to come up behind him, and now he's putting the lap down.
There's ongoing problems for Brian Wall. We talked about the oil system leaking he had earlier, and they haven't been able to really diagnose the problem. And he's now limping on around towards the pit area. Meanwhile, Mike Stefanik, well, before we get to Mike, how about a spin right there? Rick Fuller, who is doing double duty here today. He'll be in the Featherlight Modified Tour race later. He spins at lap number 75, and caution is on the Speedway. Rick Fuller bringing out the 3rd caution flag of the afternoon. A very slow spin off turn number 4.
He made contact with the safety barrier there at the end of the pit wall, and I don't know if he's going to get his car refired. No, it looks like he's going to get out.
Yeah, the window net is down, and Rick Fuller now will begin looking ahead towards the Featherlight Modified Tour race, where he is 2nd in points, and that is an awfully good year. Let's take a look at what happened to Fuller. We just caught the tail end of it moments ago. Let's see if we can pick up the problem.
Coming off at turn 4. Looks like a little contact from behind, but I think the slow car on the inside there, the 05, caused a little chain reaction problem and hard contact into the end of the wall.
Dennis Demers is right behind him there, and the number 86 machine, Barney McRae, is in the 5. This close quarters racing.
Sure is, and the guys behind did a great job not getting involved in that.
Look at that cushion barrier do its work, though. The right front of that car hit very hard going in there. He was lucky to have that barrier.
So Rick Fuller walking towards the Modified Series garage area. And Billy Ryder shows him the caution with 23 laps to go. The field getting the 1 to go signal. Will be going racing next time by. Let's take a look from the in-car camera at what transpired moments ago with Rick Fuller.
Down into turn 3. We see up ahead there a little traffic getting together and nothing but smoke. That is exactly what it looks like.
You guys can't see a thing. Matt, you've caught up with Rick Fuller, I see.
Well, Eli, all season long, he's only racing about a half a dozen Busch North events. He finished in the top 10 every race except for 1, and now today, trouble again here at New Hampshire. What was the problem, Rick?
Well, I don't know. I guess we're just snake bit here with this Busch car. Specialized Machinery, Ted Kisser, he gives me a super car. My youngest brother, crew chief, said it was a little bit tight. We were tight up off the corner, so we were losing ground there. But, in a race where you're not going to pit, nobody's coming in. You can't drop from 15th position or 12th position to 40th and hope to get back up. So we were just biding our time. Somebody got a little over aggressive behind us and made for a short day. I'll get a rest before I jump in the Polar Beverage car.
Well, he'll start 9th in the modified race, which is just coming up next. Glenn?
Hey, guys, I walked down to Brad Layton's pit stall. We were talking about how fast he was running. He has been running laps consistently from 1/10 to 2/10 quicker than the leader, Ted Christopher. And I was kidding with Carl Osha. He's the acting crew chief down here. Now, how much did you say you had to pay Rick Fuller for that caution? Because I know you needed it.
Well, we didn't have to pay for it, but we're certainly glad to see it. That's for sure. We're running just about as quick and a little bit quicker than the leader right now. We really needed that to get caught up, and it stretched it out on us. So we'll see what we can do.
Okay, good luck, guys. I tell you, like I said earlier on in the race, they feel like they have a car that can win the race. It's still not too late.
He's a good racer. Big tracks and short tracks, too, when he won at Tioga Speedway over in Oswego, New York earlier this year. Brad led all 150 laps. Andy Santerre, we talked to him or about him on the pre-race segment of our telecast. All of a sudden, quietly up to 8th spot. He's been keeping the nose clean on that 44 car. Heading south next year to go NASCAR Busch Series racing.
Started 23rd and just moved his way right up to the front. What a driver.
Okay, they're going. They haven't left yet. He's taking off right now. He's going. The flag is out. You can go to the outside if you want.
Listening to the spotters tell their drivers the green is in the air with 18 laps to go. Ted Christopher ahead of Ricky Craven, Kelly Moore, Mike Stefanik, and Jerry Marquis.
Brett, this is about the time there's no more dress rehearsal. This is the real thing now. If you have a good race car, you go with it. You forget about saving the tires. You put everything you have in the basket.
That's exactly right, buddy. 19 laps to go, and everybody's going to go for it. Craven, he's working all over the back of Christopher.
One thing we saw during the caution laps, Matt Yoakum, is that Ricky was really doing everything he could, even riding in the grass for a few moments, trying to cool his tires down.
He could have driven to the lake in the infield to cool him off, and probably would have done that too. Kevin Caldwell and Ricky talked on the radio. He said, look, try to cool those tires as much as you can, because Ricky heated those up while he was out in the lead earlier in the race. He hopes he cooled them off enough, but he says, if we're going to make our move, we're going to have to make it now, because these tires won't last much longer if I've got a battle for that top spot.
Further back, Mike Stefanik, he's running in 4th. Jerry Marquis, the 51 and the 15 right there. Here comes Leighton in the 55. Jamie Obey, our pole sitter, in the 25. Dale Quarterly in number 60. And then Andy Santerre in the 44. Those top 9 all tied together right now. Denny Doyle is in 10th. Martin Truex making an unscheduled stop. They had posted his number for a stop-and-go penalty. So the New Jersey veteran with a win here makes an unscheduled pit stop at lap number 83. Glenn, what happened to Martin? Did he pass the wrong way on the start?
No, Eli, he was supposed to start at the end of the line on the restart, and he did not, so they brought him in for a stop and go.
Either way, this late in the day, it's going to be a tough one there for Truex as he falls off the lead lap and goes all the way back to somewhere in the 20th spot.
We were talking about Christopher and Ricky Craven. All of a sudden, the 47 car has made a presence at the front of the field.
Kelly Moore, you can see him there in the green and white car. He's running 3rd right now. Getting a little bit loose coming out of the corner, but it is very quick on cool tires. Now, whether he can stay that good all the way to the end, I don't know, but he looks very strong right now.
He led twice earlier today, did Kelly Moore. Another black flag for Martin Truex, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm trying to, Nelson Crozier checking on it now. Let's see, too fast on pit road that time. Wow, man, talking about going from bad to worse.
Martin Truex, who won here, as we said, back in '94, will make, there you see him coming down pit lane over to the right of your screen. They've got Brad Layton in that blue car. The black car, that's Jamie Obey. They're 6th and 7th.
Jamie Obey just a second ago giving him a little nudge here. He says, I'm a real fast car right now and I need to go. They're making a little contact there, but Layton's a very hard race car driver. He won't just pull up and let him go.
Layton's car seemed to be good on real long runs, but here on this short run, he's gonna shoehorn his way in there, as they say.
And he just about lost it. Obey just about lost it. Quarterly reacted quickly in the 60s.
Watch this. He's going to make the move if he has to go through the infield. What a
Look at Quarterly taking advantage of those two, mixing it up. He's going to get by both of them.
Here comes Santerre in the 44 also, Eli.
Quarterly's going to go from 8th to 6th. There goes Santerre. Got one of them. Might try and pick off the second. Glenn, too bad you can't see it from pit road. It's great racing out there.
Oh, yeah, I'm climbed up on top of something, Eli. I can see it. But, I got a question for Brett. And, Brad was so quick before
what happens, Glenn. You know, you lose track of what was making you fast, where to run the car, and now he's got to deal with lap traffic or, you know, traffic for position, and he can't run the car where it was fast. So now he's just losing time, and sometimes he overdrives the car trying to make up for it.
Oh, here we go, down into turn 1.
This is 8th and 9th spots being contested. Just ahead of Denny Doyle, with whom we're riding right now. Doyle's been a very solid 10th all day. We're closing in on 10 laps to go. We're back with the finish of the CMT Twin 100's for the NASCAR Busch North Series. That's as soon as we return. Well, we're down to the final 6 laps. Kelly Moore in the 47, having gotten around Ricky Craven for the 2nd spot, has now relentlessly chased down Ted Christopher. And that's the battle everybody is watching here. That's the battle for the lead.
You can see Kelly Moore in the 47 there can get down in the corner very well. But looks like Ted Christopher is really taking care of his car. You see right there, Kelly Moore's car twitch as he starts off turn 4, meaning the car is beginning to loosen up a little bit.
Boy, he drives it down in the corner hard, though. Tries to make up that ground. But Christopher's car really gets a great bite off the corner and leaves Kelly Moore sitting there.
Ted Christopher won here a year ago. Won a 125-lapper here last September.
Christopher washed out a little bit right there in the center and able more to gain a couple car lengths.
Kelly really made the biggest move when Christopher had to take a while to get around Barney McRae.
Lap traffic was a factor, definitely. You know, that outside lane just doesn't have the traction, and he was forced to pass on the outside lane in the corner, and it really slowed him up.
Don't forget, after this race is over, the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour going 100 laps, so don't leave us.
They've got a couple lap cars to contend with here. See if they hold Christopher up.
You can see Christopher's car also getting loose in the back now as he's having to drive a very different line as he goes by the floor cars. So anything can happen. It's not over until the checkered flag falls.
No trouble getting around John Cerbone. And James Brown is just ahead of them. This has been a good battle also. Dragon and Carey. Bobby Dragon in the number 7 and Tom Carey in the 42. Anderson in the 1. That is 11th, 12th, and 13th. Meanwhile, everybody waiting and watching to see what happens in this battle and what happens with a couple of laps to go among the race leaders right there, Ted Christopher and Kelly Moore.
Christopher's just able to get off the corner strong enough and fast enough to keep Kelly Moore those 4 or 5 car lengths behind him.
I think that has a lot to do with his ability to adjust to the modifieds. The modifieds is all tire control, so he's very used to taking care of his race car and his tires at the same time.
There's a quick look at Mike Stefanik in the 51. He's running 4th ahead of Jerry Marquis in 5th. White flag is in the air for Ted Christopher, trying to put together his 2nd win of 1997 on the Busch North Series, and what would be his 3rd career Busch North Series win. Kelly Moore gave it a good effort. Ted Christopher, who'll start 8th in the modified event, wins here in the CMT 100 for the NASCAR Busch North Series. Started 5th, and it's his 2nd New Hampshire International Speedway victory. Ted Christopher winning at Watkins Glen earlier this year. Oh, and problems here on the straightaway. Barney McRae. Oh, and just sneaking by as traffic to the inside. Barney McRae and the V6 that gets to the finish. But his Pontiac with problems at the end of the day. He's okay. You see him moving around in the car. But Barney McRae wrecking here at the conclusion. Ted Christopher takes home the victory. Let's take a look at exactly what happened here on Barney McRae's problems.
Well, you know, everybody's trying to get every spot they can coming down to the finish.
That's Barney there way inside in the green and white.
Oh, a little contact from Mike Olson, who was trying to pass the 86 at the line, and McRae kind of got caught up in their battle for position.
Look at 35, Rondo getting by, Pete Rondo. Wasn't Barney's fault, but he pays the price right there. Olson will come home in 15th. We are heading to Victory Lane in a moment. Victory Lane is our next stop for the CMT Twin 100's. Ted Christopher is already there, Glenn.
As Ted Christopher climbs out, I'm not going to get too close because last year when you won, you dove on me, man. Congratulations, but you had a miracle there all the way.
Yeah, when you race Ricky Craven, you know, he's in Winston Cup. He ran a lot of races here, won a lot of races. I followed him in the middle stages there and watched the way he was running his line, and sort of was like saving my tires too. And I knew we had a little bit better car off, and I was catching him a little bit each time, and the lap cars sort of played into my favor on that deal, and then later on they almost played into Kelly's favor. It was pretty tough with lap cars, but yeah, he ran me real clean. Kelly ran me clean. It's a good win for Lescar Kitchens, Wayland Engineering, Trimar, and M&T Enterprises.
You did well there, Ted. Congratulations. We're going to let you celebrate. You got a little more work to do, the modified race. You want to meet me back here in, say, about an hour?
Yes, I'd like to. Thanks.
Okay. We'll let him get his job done. Let's go to Matt.
Well, Kelly Moore almost ended his winless streak. Kelly, you started second, finished second. It looked like you almost ran out of time. If you had a little more time, could you have gotten him?
No, I don't know. Teddy was pretty tough, you know, at the end there. We had a good race car. We got a little bit tight at the end there, and the hurt was hurting up off the corner. But, you know, Teddy ran a real good race. You know, my hat's off to him. I'd like to get this Tic Tac Pontiac in Victory Lane, you know, for the people at Tic Tac, Jordan Lumber, and Pennzoil. But it didn't happen today, but we're real happy with the second place finish.
Well, great run for Kelly Moore. Finishing third was Ricky Craven. Ricky, deja vu back to July. You guys came up just a little short there near the end.
Oh, gosh, I used it up. You know, I used it up the first 50 laps, just leading some laps and having fun. And, you know, it was nice. Came here with Budweiser. They've done an awful lot for me. And I put WSIB on the car. They came along with some sport. They insure our airplanes in NASCAR racing. So it was just a day of fun. You know, it beats a round of golf any day.
Well, a great run for the pride of New England.
It was a super run for Ricky Craven. Now let's take a look at how everything finishes. There you see Mike Stefanik coming home in fourth, and we'll talk about the points in a moment or so. Layton and Doyle, Denny had a good run today. Dale Shaw, 17th. Oh, Stubby came up from the back. Brett finished 18th.
He had a real good run all the way up to 18th. That was a great run for him.
Cousin Eric there in 21st. Eric Bodine, Martin Truex with his couple of stops there late in the day, finishing 24th. Dave Dion, you saw down near the end. That's unfortunate for Dion as he comes home in 29th today. And there are the drivers who had to go behind the wall relatively early, including those who are out of the event first on the list. So what does it all mean as far as points are concerned? Well, Mike Stefanik goes from 9 down to 61 up with one race remaining at Lime Rock.
Well, I'll tell you, that's going to be an exciting event over there. But I will say, Jerry Marquis runs awfully good on the road courses. It could be a tight battle right to the end.
It is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Well, they're lining them up. NASCAR's ground-pounding modifieds. They're on the track in just a moment. It all started a half-century ago on the dirt tracks of America. Guys climbing behind the wheel of modified coupes originally built in Detroit. The modifieds became NASCAR's first division and throughout the years became one of its most revered and treasured. The NASCAR Modified Tour helped build heroes like Richie Evans. The Rapid Romans exploits were unforgettable in the Orange 61. There was Mr. Modified, Ray Hendrick. Carl Bugsy Stevens, Marvelous Merv Treichler, and of course, Jeff Bodine. Those gladiators passed the tradition to today's Titans of Thunder. Men like Mike Stefanik, Reggie Ruggiero, and Tony Hirschman. The ground pounders continue to bring out fans by the thousands to watch their beloved modifieds. So cinch up the belts tight. The nearly half-century of tradition rolls on next here at the Magic Mile. Welcome back to New Hampshire, race number 19 of 23 for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour, the CMT Twin 100's. On the pole, Tim Connolly. He's won at Watkins Glen this year. He's won here in New Hampshire. He's won at Holland Speedway. He now has a host of poles to his credit, Glenn Jarrett. He's ready to get going.
Yeah, Eli, you know, we're going to change his name to TV Tim. Seems like every time you guys put on a race for national television, you come home in victory lane. I talked to you here last time in New Hampshire, Tim. Can you do it again?
Well, this is a nice habit to have there, Glenn. Yeah, we've got a good car. You know, Ross and Prini Tidy Cat and Goodyear and my team have given me a great car. Made me look awful good yesterday. So, big order at hand right now with Mike Stefanik and Jan Leedy and Units and all those boys back there. I got news for you. They're becoming hard. Got to run smart here, try and keep some tires in the car and go fast. I'd like to say hi to my wife and my three boys, Tommy, John, and Shane at home, and hopefully get one, bring one home here, guys.
Okay, best of luck to you, Tim. Now let's go way back in the field, where one of the perennial favorites at New Hampshire here is with Matt Yoakum.
Glenn, 2 months ago, Reggie Ruggiero ended a nearly 3-year winless streak with a victory at his home track, Riverside Park. Today, he hopes to end a winless streak here at New Hampshire dating back to 1994, but he's starting back in 37th. Reggie, what happened in qualifying?
Probably a little bit of driver error yesterday. Got up in the loose stuff in the first lap. They only gave you one lap yesterday, and that messed up my whole time trial lap. Ended up taking a provisional to start here today. Gulfoil Pontiac was running real well this morning in practice. We usually start up front. Today, we'll just have to put a show on from the back. What could I tell you?
Well, he knows how to put a show on here at New Hampshire. He's the all-time win leader.
He has 13 top 5 finishes here, teaming with Mario Fiore. They do together know how this modified tour works. When we come back, you'll look at the starting lineup and then the green flag from Billy Ryder. We're going racing in just a moment. Back to New Hampshire, the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour is set to go racing. In 1995, Mike Stefanik had 5 wins, finished 5th in points in the series. Last year, a lot of mechanical woes, handling problems. They really weren't a factor. But right now, there's the guy who has a comfortable lead in the points, Glenn. He could sweep it all here this weekend.
Absolutely, Eli. And as I said, he's the man of the hour. Now he has a pretty comfortable lead in the Busch North Series, but got a little more work to do, Mike.
Yeah, Glenn, we sure do. It's a tough modified race here today, 100 laps. We got a real good car. We qualified terrible, but that seems to be a customary lately for us up here. We'll see if we can put on our game face and get to the front.
Well, he said you can see he's busy cinching up, doing all the last-minute things, putting his gloves on now. You know, Eli, the thing that amazes me most about the lead that Mike Stefanik has in the Featherlight Modified Tour division right now, he missed a race back earlier in the year.
Exactly. There was a scheduling conflict, and he still managed a 171-point lead over Rick Fuller, 217 over Tim Connolly, 313 over 4th place Mike Iwanitzko, and Jan Leedy, who's had a great year. He's 381 points down to Stefanik. That's the kind of year Stefanik has had. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for you for the second half of our doubleheader. As Tim Connolly, the winner here in July, has the pole. Dan Avery, his best qualifying effort of this year. Jamie the Jet Tomeno, he was the modified champion in 1990. And Tommy Cravino with 4 New Hampshire top 5 starts this year. Sam Russo was second in the last tour race at Stafford. There's Dave Bergman. We'll talk more about that man and his family a bit later on. 2 top 10 finishes this year. Tony Hirschman, 3 New Hampshire modified tour wins, and we saw Ted Christopher already with a victory today. Rick Fuller, he's got 2 tour wins this season, and he's completed more laps than anybody all year. Jan Leedy, winner of the New Hampshire 125 last month. Bruce Taylor in his 6th tour start of the year. There's John Blewett. He's from Flemington Speedway. He's the favorite there. Second-generation driver Ed Flemke. Carl Pasteryak hasn't gotten a win in over 200 starts. Maybe today's the day. Mike Stefanik with 8 tour wins, and Ken Woolley. Mike Iwanitzko. We've seen him qualify well. He's a qualifying track record holder here in New Hampshire. And there's Mike Christopher, other part of the Christopher brother tandem. Donald Worley. 3rd tour race this season for Osatch. And Tony Ferrari, Jack Bateman, and Charlie Pasteryak. 3 top 5 finishes in 1997. Then some of the others we saw earlier. Tom Bowles doing double duty today. Ed Kennedy, Doug French, and Tim Mangus combined in row 13. Joey Caraccia and Bert Marvin in row number 14. Danny Watts Jr. and S.J. Avanshin. And on down the line, there you see the 16th row. Bill Woods and Pete Madden. Chris Kopak, he was 4th in the last modified race here back in August. Rich Neri, Patrick DePonte, and Jerry Marquis. Talked about Jerry a good bit today. He's doing double duty. We've heard from the Reg, 5 tour victories here. Veteran Tom Baldwin. Jim starting field for what will be the 24th ever Modified Tour Series event here at New Hampshire International Speedway. You know, we almost had a clean sweep on our hands this weekend as far as Steve Park was concerned. Failed to qualify for tomorrow's NASCAR Winston Cup race. Unfortunately, had he made it, he would have been the only guy to have qualified for a race in every touring division that NASCAR runs at this racetrack. He's run a truck here, a Busch North, a Modified Tour, and so on. He just hasn't cracked it in the Winston Cup and failed to qualify for the CMT 300 tomorrow. But thought we would throw that in because he's very much a part of the history of this racetrack.
Oh, certainly. He's had a great career, particularly here in New Hampshire.
Let's talk about what we deal with here. Restricted weights, bump drafting. Really is a science to run these cars here, isn't it?
2,900 pounds, Eli, and they have 15-inch wheels on them. They're 2-inch ground clearance. I mean, these things are land rockets. That's why they had to put restrictor plates on them. This is their Daytona here. They bump draft. They get out there, 4 or 5 cars get hooked up. They really go through the same maneuvers that you do at Daytona or Talladega, drafting up on each other. If you get caught on the outside, you can go from first to last.
I wish this camera up here in the booth was on right now, because as soon as these cars started moving, Brett just started smiling. It's amazing.
I told Buddy, put his pads on, because I get excited when these guys take to the racetrack.
What's been the most exciting Modified Tour race you've ever seen, Buddy?
Well, I watched he and Bouchard slug it out one night. First time I ever watched Brett run Modified. He was driving a number 12 car. And these guys, Kenny Bouchard and he, went at it. And the lead must have changed. In a 40-lap race, it must have changed 39 times.
Really?
It was a great race. And I went over and introduced myself to Brett because I was so taken by how hard these guys went at it from the time the green flag fell till the checker came out.
There you see the field getting the 1 to go signal. A lot of clouds there you see rolling in over Billy Ryder's head. What's it feeling like? Getting cooler, Glenn?
Yeah, Eli, it's noticeably cooler down here right now than it was during the Busch North race. In fact, I would say probably 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees cooler. Should make the racetrack a little quicker. Some thunderstorms called for later on this afternoon, but I don't believe they're expected to get here until after this thing is over. If it can hold off for about 10 minutes as fast as these guys run, it can rain, then we'll be all right.
You know, you want to talk, let's talk about speed here for a second before we go racing. Take a look at those qualifying records here at New Hampshire International Speedway. The Mod Squad quicker than the lot.
Oh, absolutely. You know, these cars are, as Buddy said, so light. They go through the corner so darn quick. They had to put restrictor plates on them because if they ran unrestricted here, it's no telling how fast they could run around this racetrack. And I really like it better with a restrictor plate because it makes it closer competition.
Riding with Ed Kennedy, the Texas native, will have onboard cameras, as will Tim Connolly from Endicott, New York. Ralston Purita Tidy Cat entry.
Boy, that makes your adrenaline just get up to look back and see that cockpit there. You can see the folded back windshield and the whole bit. What a race car.
Here we go, 100 laps for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. Tim Connolly and Dan Avery. Connolly the yellow machine, Avery the red on the front row, and here we go. Goes spinning through the picture, but everybody rights themselves and continue away. There's the number 15 that had the problems on the start, Joey Caraccia. And he gets on the roadway off the grass. We stay under green.
Eli, he had a left rear tire that was flat. That's the reason for that. Now, the Modifieds can run too wide here. There's not a real preferred line here. You see them running right around the bottom, but they can go through the corners at full speed too wide.
Jamie Tomano's got a problem. He pulled right out of line. It looks like he's lost power.
Jamie the Jet to 99. Problems for him. A super qualifying effort.
What a tough break.
Now another spinning car. That's the number 1 machine. And this time, Tim Mangus may well bring out the caution. Let's see. Nope, he rights himself with everybody else at the other end of the racetrack. We're going to stay under green. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead, Tommy Cravino and Avery. When Avery took the lead from our pole sitter, Tim Connolly. That became the 125th lead change of the season for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. Look at Avery just taking that inside away from Trevino.
Doing a little block in there, buddy, coming down the front straightaway.
You see Connolly there on the outside. We're riding with him in the yellow car here. You can see he has speed going on the outside there. Did not lose that much distance.
Trevino in the 17, Christopher in the 13. Same paint scheme for Ted Christopher in the 13 right behind that he had in the Busch North Series car.
They're starting to go 2 by 2 now. This thing's really heating up. On the outside, just behind this group we're riding with right here, Jan Leedy has made a move there in the 25 car. We know if he ever up front, he's going to be a factor.
Boy, Avery's doing everything he can to hold Trevino off. Trevino gets off the corner so much stronger than Avery, and he's just blocking him down the front straightaway, leaving the outside open for Connolly.
Yeah, Connolly's in that yellow machine. Everybody, Fuller closing in now. Rick Fuller trying to be part of the mix. We're riding with Connolly.
You can see those Nerf bars come into play there. That's their side on the car. You can see the metal bars that run the length of the side of the car there. That keeps them from wheel hopping.
Connolly got down to the inside. He got underneath Trevino. Now Trevino's pinned down that outside lane. And here comes Christopher.
You might have seen the pack go by a slower machine. That was Jamie Tomeno coming back on the racetrack. We'll get an update shortly from the pit lane. The 05 John Blewett, he's running in 5th spot now. Working inside of the 17 machine of Trevino. And again with Connolly.
We last see him coming up there. That's the draft. You can see Christopher in the 13 there just motoring right on by. It looks like a race at Daytona. They just move up there, get in the draft, and go right on by.
So as Christopher makes that move around the Connolly car, he'll take over the top spot with Avery having gotten shuffled back now to 4th.
Eddie Christopher, he wants them to get that doubleheader.
He really does.
He's trying awful hard.
We've seen Mike Stefanik do some sweeping here in 2 races on the same day in New Hampshire. Christopher trying to do the same. Connolly is 2nd, Fuller 3rd, Avery is 4th, Blewett is 5th. Trevino is now running in 6th. Early under cloudy skies here in New Hampshire. Motorsports live coverage of the CMT Twin 100's from New Hampshire International Speedway is being brought to you by the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. We are back with you riding at New Hampshire International Speedway along with Tim Connolly, who is the race leader here, taking over the top spot on lap number 9. Reggie Ruggiero there, the Gulf machine, number 44. Remember when Matt Yoakum went way back in the field to find him at the grid? He's now 15th overall. So the Reg clearly cutting right through race traffic in a hurry. He moves there around the 5 of Charlie Pasteryak and just picks his way through. Ed Flemke Jr., the 11, is just ahead there in the 14th position. While you were away, Jack Bateman did a little spin out in the corner. No caution. Everybody continued away. There was no problem. He was running 23rd at the time of his incident, but we now stay clean and green. Bateman, after the spin, takes up in 37th position.
Boy, Reggie's just catching them and picking them off. His car is really working strong.
That'll work for a while, but the higher up the ladder he goes, the harder it is to climb. And believe you me, as he goes on up and gets with the cars that are up front right now, it's going to get tougher.
Mike Christopher there in the 77. He'll be the next one to pass.
This is the longest he's had to work on somebody right here.
Yeah.
The 2 laps.
Look kind of like Buddy said. You know, getting closer to the front. This is 13th spot he's trying to bypass now. Christopher's giving him some room. Reggie Ruggiero, for years answered to the name Ruggiero. Never did bother to correct anybody, and that's what everybody knew him as for years. Of course, your brother was known for years as Bodine.
That's right.
You know, for years, Fred, you remember, many guys referred to Jeff Bodine for years before it was finally clarified.
Reggie had a good run off of turn 2, got down underneath Christopher, but it's like Christopher's just got a little bit more horsepower, holds him off down each straightaway. See, he gets underneath him there in the corner. Now they're neck and neck down the front straightaway, and Reggie's going to complete the pass.
Pit stops now for Carl Pasteryak. And Matt, we also needed to update everybody on what happened to Jamie Tomeno.
Well, the crew for Carl Pasternak has already taken off the valve cover. Something is wrong inside the motor. They're taking a look at it. They don't have any idea. They're just shaking their heads. An update on Jamie the Jet Tomeno. They had a plug wire come off. So he hit it earlier on, put the plug wire back on. His crew did. He's down back on the racetrack. So tough luck for both Carl and Jamie.
Jamie the Jet is now 3 laps back. And how about old Mr. Fuller right there powering on through with Christopher now backpedaling in the 13. The 05 is Blewett. You've got the 25 there, buddy. You were talking about Jan Lady before.
Doing a nice job, but just behind him, Mike Stefanik. This guy has won 8 times already this year, and you can see him making a move on Leedy as they go down in the corner.
Spanish car's really working well there in the bottom. That's going to be the key. You know, a guy we got to give credit to here is John Blewett.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a lot of experience here at Loudon, but boy, is he doing a great job.
Of course, he knows modifieds by virtue of being one of the men at Flemington Speedway in New Jersey. But you're right, this is a whole different animal, the squared circle up there at Flemington. Here goes Stefanik inside of Christopher. Give him 3rd this time.
Boy, he's making it look easy.
Yeah.
His car is really working well.
Yeah, he's done it all year, making it look easy. There's a good battle. Sam Russo there in the 88 machine, leading a battle at 18th, 19th, and 20th. Don Worley next in line. Just minding their time. That's 19th, 20th, 21st. Bruce Taylor going through there. And the 30 there being bypassed as Donald Worley, Rocky Mount, Virginia. That's great racing families in the Featherlight Modified Tour. This battle heating up again. Christopher and Lady.
Now, Christopher jumped out in front right there and took over the lead without much trouble. We have a caution on the Speedway.
As one machine ends on the wall there in turn number 4. That's Bill Woods out of Nichols, New York, who goes out and brings us the first caution flag of the day as Nichols ends up in the wall in turn number 4. So the pole sitter, Tim Connolly, continues to lead. Nichols brings out the caution. We'll be right back. Pit stops, the name of the game under caution. Lap 24, Glenn Jarrett.
And Rick Fuller, who was running second, has brought the Polar Beverages car in, guys. And I think what he's going to do, he's got a right rear tire was starting to show a little blister on it. They changed the 2 right sides and the left rear, but this will give them track position because the other guys are going to pit too. Here's Matt.
Tiger Tom Baldwin in the 7 car was complaining his car was a little too loose. They came in, changed 4 tires, and the stagger. Helping out on the car is his son, Tom Baldwin Jr., who happens to be the crew chief on the Junie Donlevy Ford that Dick Trickle drives.
You might have seen somebody there in the Heilig-Myers uniform helping out. That was Tom Jr., a very well-respected mechanic, we might add. Hey, have you had a chance? There's Tom Baldwin Jr. I bet you he's computer literate. And if you are as well, you might want to log on to country.com. Country.com, your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect at www.country.com, your personal source for all things country. Welcome back, Eli Gold with Brett Bodine, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum. Tomorrow, Steve Burns will be along as well for the NASCAR Winston Cup CMT 300. You've got a final practice session coming up a bit later today. Pretty comfortable?
Yeah, the car was real good this morning. We've got some things we want to run through this afternoon, some shot combinations, sway bars, and then we'll sort through it all tonight and put the best package we can at it tomorrow.
You guys were gutsy. I mean, you cut up a real, I shouldn't say that, but a real stinker of a race car. You cut it up, went to a short track, thrashed on it, and all of a sudden you're starting third.
Well, just credit to the guys. They worked awful hard to get that car done, and you know, we've got some things we want to try, and it worked out for us.
I'm glad it did. Brett Bodine will be starting third tomorrow. We'll be following his exploits, but right now, down on the racetrack, green flag is in the air, and here we go, lap 27 of 100. Connolly, Stefanik, Blewett, Leedy. Those are the top 4 right now.
Stefanik is glued to the back bumper of Tim
That's
Connolly.
called bump drafting. You can watch them down the straightaways. Stefanik was right up under the 4 there of Connolly. They were bump drafting down through there. What that does, the second car just kind of pushes the front car along. It tries to take the lead.
Trying to power to the inside. Got him off the corner. Connolly's not given. We're riding with Tim Connolly now. You know, it's racing like this that has brought out the super crowd we have here today, too. Clearly the best Saturday doubleheader. Oh, bump, 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 bump. 3 or 4 times.
Just pushing him right down the front straightaway.
A picture is 1,000 words. You can see it right there. When they got together, they just go ahead and push each other down the straightaway.
But we see right there in that corner what's made Mike Stefanik so strong this year. His car really gets through the corner, and he's able to open it up now on Tim Connolly.
125 miles an hour plus that last lap around the magic mile. So Connolly led from lap 9 through 27. Stefanik takes over at lap number 28. Blue here in the 05. Jan Lady right behind him, that day glow orange and white 25. Mike Uinitsko, who is also testing the waters now in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The team crew chief by Ricky Jazambek. And there's old Reggie, the Reg. 7th now. And Matt, were you trying to convince us that Reggie was telling somebody he's down on power?
Well, that's what Reggie was telling Mario Fiore and the guys on the radio, so it seems like it's a little bit down on power. But he also says there's a little bit of fluid on his windshield. He thinks it's sprinkling down in turn 4. You saw a lot of top teams pit under that last caution. The Reg is going to wait till any caution after lap 40. And from that point on, he said he should have good enough tires to go the distance.
Well, they're at lap 30 right now. Oh, trouble on the main straightaway. As a spinner comes off the corner, Bert Marvin out of Colchester, Connecticut. He puts the brakes on. We stay under green. We've seen about 3 or 4 spins today from different drivers, but we have not had the caution come out in those instances, as Bert Marvin is in 21st position, and we stay under green.
We saw the first part of our pit strategy play out. The half a dozen guys that were running in the front pack pitted early. Now they're going to ride around here and just kind of keep the tires on the car, wait for that next yellow, and then everybody ahead of them is going to hit pit road. They're going to find themselves back at the front of the pack. The rest of that field's going to have to come back up and pass them again. So it looks like track position is the key of why they wanted to pit early.
Short pitting will work, and there's what happened on that spin by Bert Marvin.
Eli did all that by himself. He just got in the throttle too hard coming off the corner and just turned right around. He was very lucky that nobody was very close to him.
Mike Stefanik, Tim Connolly, first and second. Curious, our other front row starter, Dan Avery, he is backslid to 10th now. Haven't mentioned much about a good run. I was going to mention about number 14 right there, who is being challenged. That's Ken Woolley, who is out of New Jersey. The Reg just caught him. Reggie Ruggiero, we hadn't talked much about Ken. And he was doing a solid job. But all of a sudden, he is now in peril of being bypassed by Reggie Ruggiero. Up front, Mike Stefanik. Still showing the way by that margin over the yellow machine of Connolly. John Blewett is third. And there's an ominous-looking cloud right over top New Hampshire International Speedway. Pit stops now, the name of the game at lap number 37. Bert Marvin spinning off turn 2 this time, bringing out the second caution flag of the afternoon. There's the problem that Marvin had, and he will now come on around to the attention of his crew on the pit lane. So now most others who didn't stop earlier are stopping here, including Jan Lady right there in at lap number 37. Matt Yoakum's got a good eye on it.
Well, both Jan Leedy and the 5 car of Charlie Pasternak are in. It's a 4-tire stop for Patrick and a 4-tire stop for Leedy. And there also appears to be Eddie Flumpke Jr. could be coming down pit road shortly.
Well, evidently the leaders didn't feel like it was late enough.
No, I guess not.
Evidently they felt like they wanted to have a little fresher tire on their car towards the end of the race. And, you know, this is what pit strategy is all about. You know, making the right decisions at the right time.
Jack Bateman there, the 47. He'll be coming in, but the race leader's staying out. Hey, have you heard what the critics are saying about TNN Motorsports' new video game, Hardcore 4x4? They're saying if you're a racer and you like games, you need to check out TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4 for the Sony PlayStation and the Sega Saturn system. It is in stores now, so check it out. The game is really very authentic. So real, you'll have to scrape the mud off your TV screen. Check it out, the Hardcore 4x4. You can also get information online at www.country.com. Yeah, it's coming up again, cruise time. The NASCAR Family Cruise, Winston Cup Racing Wives Auxiliary, and a host of drivers and sports personalities. There's the number to call. Brett, you and the family.
We had a great time.
And I there last year. Had a great time.
That was a great cruise. Can't wait to go back.
Key West, Florida this year. Cozumel, Mexico. Brand new itinerary. Check it out. Call that number toll free. 888-491-4950. Monies to benefit the Winston Cup Racing Wives Auxiliary. Ed Flumpke Jr. on the pit lane there, number 11, Matt.
Eli, Ed Flumpke Jr. was complaining his car was a little bit loose, so they came in, took the caution to take advantage of trying to tighten him up a little bit with stagger. An update on his business partner, Reggie Ruggiero. They were going to try to come in if the leaders pit. They put the signboard out, but the leaders did not come in, so the Reg decided to hold on to the 5th position.
Right now, they're telling the field to double up. Billy Ryder atop the flag stand is giving them the flags right there, not halfway, but he's telling them to double up because there is some rain falling right now. And instead of going single file and keeping one groove dry, they'll double up and try and keep 2 grooves dry. Meanwhile, Glenn Jarrett, I am told in my ear, has found a friend on pit road. Oh, my. Don't they make a lovely couple?
What the deal is, guys, I can't bear to get wet. Hey, they're moving my bear. What are you doing here? Hey, what are you doing here? This is the polar beverage bear, and I'm trying to get this guy to keep me dry, and I'm going to smack Nelson over here for moving him around here. No, it's raining pretty hard right now, guys, so they're telling them to double up on the racetrack to try to help keep the thing dry. But that ominous cloud you talked about, Eli, it's doing its job right now.
Of course, the operative question on that last shot of Glenn Jarrett and his buddy there was, who has the more hot air in him?
I've been talking to him, Eli. That's where he got all the hot air from. It came directly from, I inflated this bear.
40 laps are on the board of the 100. It is raining. They're going to keep the teams out there for a while to see if they can stay ahead of Mother Nature. We're still 10 laps shy of halfway. Well, sorry to report, but the red flag is out now as the rain intensifies just a bit here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. That'll give you a better idea as you see one of the local federally protected marshlands in the area here. And there's the even rain on the scoreboard. That's what they are showing the fans here, but we are under a rain situation. And of course, Brett Bodine, this not only impacts these fellas who have still 8 laps to go to halfway and 58 to finish the race, but I know you and the other Winston Cup drivers are hoping for that final practice session here this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've put in our race engine now and want to get out there and get some laps on it, get it worked in, and of course make those final adjustments to the chassis.
Doesn't look particularly bad, and actually there's some sun beginning to show through.
That's what I was just fixing to point out. The sun has reappeared on the front straightaway here, even though it is still just drizzling lightly, but looks like we might get this thing back underway pretty quick. The pavement's already hot, so it'll dry fast.
Let's recap it if you're just joining us as the jet dryer has now come out to try and stay ahead of Mother Nature just a bit. Dan Avery, who started outside of the front row, led the first 6 laps here today. Ted Christopher led laps 7 and 8 after winning the Busch North Series event. Then Tim Connolly from laps 9 through 27, and Mike Stefanik took the lead at lap number 28. We're now at lap number 42. You got a good view there of the blue sky off towards Laconia, New Hampshire. That is out behind turn 4 and so on. So not being a betting man, but I would guess we'll be back to racing here before too much longer.
You not being a betting man?
All right, let's. The second I said it, I knew
We've sat at many of blackjack table together in Las Vegas.
We sure, but that's strictly for medicinal purposes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take a look at how your favorites are running and see Mike Uinich go there. John Blewett, we talked about him from Flemington doing so well. Good run there for the number 14, Ken Woolley Jr. doing himself well. Jerry Marquis, Sam Russo. Good run for the number 1 machine. Tim Mangus started in 26th. He's now in 10th.
Ted Christopher, he's slid back a little bit here to 11th. I think they're struggling a little bit with the handling.
Tony Hirschman's had a tough year this year.
You know, after that team won the championship and everything, and just haven't been able to get it together this season. Of course, there hasn't. When you have someone as dominant as Mike Stefanik, it's hard to say that you've had a good year considering he is the benchmark.
Hirschman had a couple of seconds and a 5th. He's had many 20th and 30th place finishes, and that's been the bugaboo for that team this year, Glenn.
Oh, absolutely, Eli. You know, I've been checking with a couple of the guys on pit road about pit strategy. I asked Mike Stefanik's guys if they had planned on stopping, and they said, yeah, if we'd have known this was going to happen, we'd stop now. Same thing from Tim Connolly's crew. Before this thing was red flagged, right when the caution first came out, their guys were scurrying around, getting ready to pit Tim. Then all at once they decided not to come in. So a lot of second guessing going on right now. Some guys that didn't pit wishing that they had. So, you know, we're going to have to wait and see. They're going to need another caution now. They feel like that even if they don't get to pit, if this thing would go green the rest of the way, that they may have enough track position on these other guys to hold them off, but only time will tell.
And we should establish, although it is elementary to some of you watching, there are always new viewers checking in. Remember that under a red flag condition, even though they're on pit road, you might say, well, go ahead and work on them. You can't do that. You can dry the windshield, you can cover the car. That is the extent. Whenever the red flag is out in any NASCAR touring series, all work must stop. And that is what we've had here, 4 minutes and 27 seconds of a red flag condition thus far.
Talking about that pit strategy, it looks like Rick Fuller is in the best position right now. He was one of the cars that pitted early. He's all the way back up to 14th. So virtually, you got to consider him the leader of the race after everybody pits.
Right, because Stefanik hasn't yet made a stop. Fuller is 171 points down to Stefanik, but he is second in the points. So very much a part of his strategy. And there's old Reggie Ruggiero, who has come all the way up to 5th spot after starting back in the field. But again, pit stop still having to unfold for many of the top teams. Red flag continues. There's some blue sky, but also some raindrops still falling as well. So we're going to hang right here. Don't you go away. We're coming right back. Welcome back. The CMT Twin 100's here on TNN Motorsports. Earlier today, Ted Christopher winning for the NASCAR Busch North Series. Right now, the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour event. 42 laps old, being held up by rain. You'll get all the details and all the highlights of the races here and all that's going on across America. Busy weekend in motorsports. You won't miss a thing by tuning into Race Day. Up-to-the-minute highlights, interviews, whole lot more tomorrow at noon Eastern with Rick Benjamin at the microphone. Hope you can tune in for that. And, of course, we'll be along tomorrow as well. We'll check in during race day. And then the NASCAR Winston Cup teams here in New Hampshire, the CMT 300 tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Kenny Schrader on the Busch pole. Same scenario we enjoyed here in July. Schrader was on pole there. And they tried a few different things in July, Buddy Baker, and Kenny said it just wasn't the way to go. He and Andy Petrie, the team owner and crew chief, have reworked things, and Kenny said we might just have it nailed for tomorrow. You never know, but a lot of enthusiasm and excitement from that team going in.
They're only going to get better, and right now they do have a race to look back on together and say, okay, let's improve this, improve that. The racetrack is basically the same, so I look for them to be real strong.
So that'll all be coming up tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time right here on TNN Motorsports. In the background, the jet dryer still making its lap around the Speedway. Everybody's in the waiting mood. Fans are doing the wave. Sun is out, but it's also raining just a bit. A little sun shower, as they say. Glenn, how bad's it coming down, or has it stopped pretty much?
It's slacking off, Eli, and I was looking at that wave. It looks more like a ripple to me. It's not much of a wave. Brett, you talked about that Rick Fuller was in the driver's seat right now as far as the cars that had pitted. He moved up to 14th. This is the reason that he pitted as early as he did. This is the right rear tire off the car. You can see a little blister has formed right around the outside edge of the tire. I talked to his guys. They said that they saw this, like I told you earlier, they saw this back in August when they were here. Just now, while the car's a red flag, I sneaked out on the pit road, if you can imagine somebody like me sneaking out, undetected by NASCAR, and looked at the right rear tire on Fuller's car. The one on the car right now is fine. He's okay. They feel like their chances are real good. Just like you said, Brett, they may be in the driver's seat because all 13 of those guys in front of him feel like they've got to pit, take on new tires.
Well, that's exactly right, Glenn. But, you know, one other thing that might have played into his favor, he put one more heat cycle on his tire. He got them hot. Now they've sat there and cooled down again. That hardens the rubber up just a little bit. Maybe he won't have that blister problem here in the second half of the race.
Of course, we're still, you never know, but we're still 58 laps from the finish, and he had that little problem develop in 23 laps when he had to come in. So a lot of guessing, and we won't know until the day unfolds. Reggie Ruggiero is in 5th spot, and Matt, you talked to him earlier today by going to the way back. Now you can find him near the front.
He's up to 5th, Eli. You're looking at the right rear off of the Reggie's car. You can see a slight blister. Reggie, you made it from 37th all the way to 5th. You put on a heck of a show so far. Can you end it with a victory?
The Gulf Pontiac is real fast today. You know, I've been trying to be careful to get to the front. Now I'm with all the regular tour veterans, and we can put on a good race. We're going to end up pitting here pretty soon, probably on the next caution. So, you know, if we can get into pits and beat these guys out, then I don't have to pass them. And, you know, I wanted to be up front. Took 35 laps, a little longer than I thought, but we're here to stay.
He's got it up front. They're hoping to pit the next caution flag. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, we moved up to the front row where, once again, we find Mike Stefanik. And you made a comment a while ago, I was going to make you famous. I'm not doing it, man. You are. Great run so far. The car looks like it's handling great.
Yeah, the car is really running strong. The Goodyear tires seem to be have an edge on Brand X. I got to say hi to my kids back home. I haven't said that this weekend, so I know they're watching, and everybody back home. Car's running really well. I don't like running around here driving the track, though, while them guys just got their new tires. I don't think that's the hot setup, so we're going to have to figure out what we got to do here pretty quick. Hopefully the sun will dry the track, and we'll go right back to a green flag situation. Probably come in, you know, lap 60 or 70, maybe.
Well, your guys, I asked them a while ago why you didn't come in that time, and they said if they had known that this rain was coming, they probably would have pitted you.
Yeah, 10-4. We would have come in with the rest of them. I mean, you know, anything a little bit past halfway is where we normally look for the window for the tires. Certainly we're going to be there pretty soon, so we might have made a little mistake here while not knowing what the weather's going to do. We're okay. We got a fast car. I'm having fun.
Sorry to say, even if they did make a mistake, I think he's probably got the car to make up for it, Matt.
Well, 2 cars back, Glenn. John, the 3rd, 2-time track champion in the modifieds at Flemington. John, you're up to 3rd. He's talking to his guys on the radio. I know this will be a good day for you. You guys want to move up to the Truck Series. Hopefully next year this will be a good chance in front of a lot of Winston Cup stars and owners over in the garage area.
Yeah, we're looking to move up. That's why we come out and did some of these tour races. We figured we'd come here, it's live TV, and try to get the car up front.
Well, they're hoping for a good run. They're in 3rd. Right behind them is Mike Ioannitsko. And now let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And a little work going on Tim Conley's car here. Now, not work that NASCAR would prohibit under red flag. Just cleaning the windshield for him, getting ready to refire. And, Tim, we heard some reports early on. We're not sure if it was you or not, but about maybe a power steering problem. Was that anything to do with you? Car looks awfully good.
No, the car's awful good. No power steering problems here. Actually, no problems at all. 2 sprinkles, they're going to go away. New Hampshire does a great job at the track maintenance, so I don't have any worries about anything. Mike Stefanik's running really good. We got a pretty good car today. We're a little bit tight on this set of tires right now, but everything's going as planned. I'll pay attention to the master up there, and we'll have some fun.
When will you stop the change?
Well, you got to wonder if we made a mistake already or not. It's going to be a real show for us to come up through the back here now. You know, we really wanted to come in around about this time, but we just let a whole bunch of other guys pit instead of us, so not much of an advantage. So I think we'll hold tight for a little bit and then come in a little while. I guess I want to know what Mike said first.
basically the same thing you said, Tim, that there might have been a little mistake made there. A little bit of second guessing, like I said earlier, guys, a little second guessing going on down here.
It does seem, however, as though we are going to go racing in about 5 minutes or so. Track drying has continued. We've been under a red flag now for 13 minutes and 50 seconds because of a little rain shower that came across the track. But blue sky overhead, and they're going to dry the track. We'll be back to it with the final 58 laps of the CMT Twin 100's. In Loudon, New Hampshire, earlier today, Kelly Moore, lap number 4, grabs the lead in the Busch North Series race from Ricky Craven. Lap 75, Rick Fuller spins, brought out the third caution of the day, setting up Ted Christopher's win, his second of 1997. All of that was earlier today. Now the second half of the CMT Twin 100's. The NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour engines have just roared back to life. A red flag period of 16 minutes and 34 seconds. A very brief rain shower, and that is how the field is going to be going back to green. Again, a lot of those teams have yet to make their pit stop while others have. The pit strategy very much a storyline as we'll work the final 58 of the 100 laps here at New Hampshire International Speedway. I'm Eli Gold with Bud Baker, Brett Bodine, Glenn Jarrett, and Matt Yoakum, the entire TNN crew on hand. We are so happy you're with us. And don't forget tomorrow, our coverage of the CMT 300 for the NASCAR Winston Cup teams. Of course, tomorrow, a busy motorsports day. If you like the straight liners, check it out tomorrow. 300-mile-an-hour action. The NHRA drivers on the button at Maple Grove Raceway in Reading, Pennsylvania. The Pioneer Keystone Nationals live tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Time here on TNN Motorsports. And, of course, later today, if you want the most complete look into the world of NASCAR racing, you need to go inside NASCAR with Ned Jarrett this afternoon, 5 o'clock Eastern, right here on TNN Motorsports. Well, the field beginning to roll now as we get set to go back to work. Again, this rain delay putting a halt on things. Track now bone dry. The sun is back out, and we also saw the jet dryer helping get this track back to readiness. Well, who made the good call, Brett? What do you think? And who's made the mistake?
Well, I really feel like some of the guys that pitted early are really going to be the ones to contend with here at the end. Rick Fuller and Art Berry in the Polar Beverage car. They're the ones in the catbird seat. They're going to take the advantage when all these guys hit pit road and find themselves in the lead.
What about Mario Fiore and the bunch, Matt? Reggie Ruggiero's team in fifth. What are they saying?
It's going to be monkey see, monkey do, Eli. The Reg and Mario have talked. If Mike Stefanik comes down pit road, they will come with him. If not, and they're still thinking about it, they still may come, but they want to see what Mike Stefanik does first.
Oh, it is indeed the leader, and Stefanik is indeed the leader over Tim Connolly and John Blewett in the third. Mike Uwinitsko, and then that man, Reggie Ruggiero. 43 laps on the board as the laps are counting again, riding with Tim Connolly, who was our Busch pole sitter. Led lap 9 through 27. That's great technology on those cars, isn't it?
He must have a bed spring in that left front there. That thing moved about 4 inches in the center part of the corner. Look how soft that suspension is on the left front there.
Well, you see him weaving back and forth, trying to get a little more heat back into the tires. They've cooled off since the red flag has come out, and of course clean off the little marbles that are on the tires, so they got clean surface to work with when they get back to green.
Glenn, you ever have the chance to drive a modified or even one of the Southern NASCAR modifieds?
No, Eli, there was nobody ever that crazy to put me in something that fast. No way.
I saw Brother Dale drive one at Martinsville one time.
Yeah, he drove one of Jimmy Spencer's cars up at Martinsville one time, and man, it added so much gray hair to his head. I said, I don't want to try that. I got a question real quick, Brett. You were talking about that Rick Fuller may be, we see 39 car has come on pit road. Fuller may be in the catbird seat. My question is this. If he pitted on around lap 21 and the other guys come in around lap 55 or 60, if they get the caution, will the good not be gone out of their tires, and those fresher tires, will that not make up the advantage that Fuller gains on track position?
That is definitely the $65 question, because I'm sure that they feel like that they can get the tire wear if they pitted that early. What you saw with the blister tires wasn't tire wear causing the problem. It was the excessive heat causing the tire to blister. So hopefully they may have made some chassis adjustments to take it a little easier on that right rear tire.
We will all find out together. We're at lap 44 of 100.
You know, you heard them talk about the X tire and this and that. They do have a tire war in this division right here. There's Hoosier and Goodyear competing in this race.
Indeed. That is an ongoing battle where the tire wars aren't necessarily in other series. They are here. Green flag is in the air.
Oh, Mike Stefanik got a terrible restart. Connolly was able to jump outside and get the lead back away from him. But
for the second.
Stefanik battles back in that outside lane.
Wow, look at him. Get the forward bite off the corner down the back straightaway and just motor right back into the lead there. Connolly didn't get off that corner at all.
So Stefanik in front, Connolly second. Blewett is that first red car. Unitsko is the second red car. Working around the number 98, the slower machine of Doug French there on the right of your screen, that black car with the blue numerals.
What happened there, Eli, was some of the guys made a pit stop, one to go before the restart, got caught on pit lane, and there's a half a dozen cars that didn't ever get caught up to the back of the pack.
So they're all right now ahead of the leaders by a goodly bit. What about tire situation now, Glenn, again, for Stefanik, for Connolly, and for Blewett?
Well, Eli, the front two guys, Stefanik and Connolly, are on good years. They both told us on camera that they were going to have to change tires. I didn't get to talk to John Blewett, but I talked to his crew chief, and he said, yeah. He said, we're just waiting to see what those guys do. The Hoosier tires are going to have to change at about the same time. Like Matt said, it's going to be monkey see, monkey do. As soon as Stefanik makes his move, you can bet that Connolly and Blewett also will follow him down pit road.
Little skating up in turn number 2 for Jan Lady and others as they stay off the wall, but barely. Lady's running back in 19th spot while you watch the leaders. There's Connolly in second, Blewett third, Unitsko in fourth. Reggie Ruggiero is that blue car in fifth.
Stefanik got a great jump there. He's got about a 10-car length lead. But these other cars are drafting just like the Daytona and Talladega. They ought to be able to run him down if they're handling him as well.
48, Ed Flemke Jr. making another stop as we ride with Connolly here on the main straightaway. They bypass the 33 of Wade Cole there, that black car. Putting him a lap down. Cole is 32nd. We told you about Jan Lady moments ago up there near in turn 2. And watch what happened here. He's in the outside.
Looks like the 00 car. Oh, the 40 car got crooked.
Yeah.
Lost the back end, slid around a little bit. Lady had to make an evasive move to the right, got up into marbles. And that stuff gets stuck to your tire and you can't get it off. It takes a couple corners to get it cleaned up.
Patrick DePonte was in the 40 as we've reached halfway.
Well, let me just tell you about the marbles. What they are is tire buildup and a lot of debris that gets on the high side of the racetrack. When you get into it, it feels like somebody had a fresh load of sand on the outside of the track.
We told you a repeated pit stop for Ed Flemke Jr. He was in at lap 44, again at lap 48. What's the problem, Matt?
Eli thought he might have had some lugs loose on the right front. He had a bad vibration, so they brought it back in again, took the impact gun, went around to all the lugs. They were all tight, so now they're still wondering what could be the culprit for the vibration on the 11 car. Glenn?
Well, Matt, to talk about what Buddy and Brett were talking about there, that tire buildup, this is exactly what happens. This is the right front tire that came off of Rick Fuller's car when he pitted. You can see all the rubber that it picked up there when he slowed down to come down pit road. It's not only ugly looking, it doesn't turn very well either.
I bet not. 48 laps now remaining as Stefanik goes across the stripe and head back off into the corner. Ed Kennedy giving us the ride around the Speedway in the 0. He's in 11th spot, Kennedy is.
Winston just took third away from Blewett going down into turn 3. Looks like he's found a little speed in the number 8 car.
He's a good one, Unitsko is, particularly out of his favorite track out at Riverhead on Long Island. Boy, he's tough there.
Eli, that car has been good with a lot of drivers in it. Jeff Fuller drove it a few years back, won championship in it. Steve Hart drove it, was always a threat. That car has a great background.
Stefanik going around the 39 of Jerry Marquis.
Uinsko's now got into second. He's gotten around Tim Conley.
So Mike Uinsko on the move. We're at lap number 54. The NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour working towards the finish. Mike Uinsko is the leader, but Connolly in that yellow number 4 trying to come right back. The Mystic Missile shooting to the front yet again after the lead was grabbed away from Mike Stefanik. There you see Connolly, Stefanik right behind him. Uinsko, the red card to the inside, the left of your screen. Stefanik led from 28 to 56. Uinsko at lap 57. Connolly at lap number 58.
Boys are really mixing it up here at the front of the pack.
But pit stop's still coming. Remember that.
That's exactly right. And Rick Fuller, he's laying back, just taking care of his tires. He's in 7th position right now, and I know what he's doing. He's just pacing himself.
He's just waiting.
Look at Stefanik on the inside. You can see he's really having a time keeping that car down low. The back end was switching back and forth there as he goes and tries to take the lead now. You can see 3 cars really battling for the lead here.
And here comes the 44, Reggie Ruggiero. He's in 4th. Ahead of John Blewett, who is in 5th. Woolley is in 6th. Fuller now 7th. Avery is 8th. Russo 9th. Ted Christopher is 10th. Ed Kennedy is 11th. Chris Kopech in 12th. Charlie Pastriak 13th. Tommy Gravino is 14th. Tony Hirschman is 15th. Jan Leedy now in 16th.
Stefanik doesn't want to give that inside up, does he?
Not at all.
He's protecting it pretty hard, and Connolly just drove around the outside of him.
Stands on it. And finally keeps it cleanly for the moment. Here comes Uinsko in the 8th. We're at lap 62 of 100.
Connolly's car keeps washing up there in the middle of the corner, leaving the bottom lane open, but nobody can drive in there.
What a great shot. That's looking back from Connolly's car. You see Stefanik just behind there, and everybody is drafting. You can see when one car moves, they all start, just like a Congo going down the front straightaway there.
Just 37 laps from the finish. Glenn Jarrett, any chance at all that some of these guys are going to try and go with 37 laps remaining?
Yeah, Eli, I've talked to Uinsko's crowd, to Conley and to Mike Stefanik, and they're not going to stop under the green unless they absolutely have to, unless a tire goes down. They're going to try to stay out there. I'm watching Rick Fuller. He's not making any progress right now. He's pretty much holding his own, but he's not running them down with the fresher tires. So they're going to stay out there. If a caution comes out, they may or may not. Remember this, whatever Mike Stefanik decides to do, that's what all the rest of them will have to do.
And right now, Stefanik is battling with Connolly for the lead. Those of you who are tuning in now to see my classic car, the show will not be seen this afternoon due to the delay to this event. We had that rain delay that put us about 20 minutes behind schedule, so we apologize. Those of you who are tuning in for my classic car, it will not be seen. But these classic cars are going to continue to be seen, and my classic car will be on at 6:30 Eastern Time this evening, about 3 hours from now.
Here's a look back at Mike Stefanik literally pushing Tim Connolly down the straightaway.
Here they come off turn 4, back to the stripe. Battle for the lead, Stefanik and Connolly.
Stefanik makes the move on the inside, but I was really hoping that Connolly knew he was down there.
So Stefanik reassumes the lead 10 laps after he lost it. We're at lap number 66. Could there be pit stops, or are they going to try and drag out to the finish? We'll find out when we come back. We have caution on the speedway for a spin in turn number 4, and that is the second car involved. That's Mike Christopher. He was the second car. The first car is now right there pulling away, the 07 of Burt Marvin. He has the left front that's down, as you can clearly see, and as he spun, there was nowhere for the 77 of Mike Christopher to go, and we have caution on the speedway just 30 laps from the finish.
Boy, this is going to be interesting, Eli. Are these guys leaving in the race going to take a chance and pit, or are they going to go ahead and just say, hey, we don't want to give up the track position. We need to stay out on the racetrack.
That is the question right now, and Burt Marvin has a complete hat trick now. That's the third time that he's been in trouble today.
Some of the teams on the pit lane, the 51, Bill Woods, that's the black machine that you see in the foreground. And there's Burt Marvin behind him in the 07. We are at lap number 71. The Burnham Boilers team waiting for Mike Stefanik. And, of course, they could be just bluffing here. We're at lap 70. Glenn, what are you hearing?
Well, out there bluffing, they got everybody down here fooled because they're all they've done a great job of it. Got me fooled, too. I think they're all going to come in, and interestingly enough, Rick Fuller is also going to have to pit. As we talked about a while ago, that advantage that he had, that new tire advantage, is gone now. Too many laps on the tires. They're coming down pit road right now. Mike Stefanik leading a parade down pit road. I think the guy in the catbird seat right now might be Jan Leedy. Did he not pit earlier? Here they come. Stefanik followed closely by Conley, Uinitsko, and we're right here. This will be, they go to the right side on Mike Stefanik. Looks like it will be right side only. Same thing for Rick Fuller. In fact, Rick Fuller is only going to change the right rear. You're going to see two right sides on Tim Conley. Likewise, now they come around to the left side on Stefanik. So it will be three, and let's go to Matt.
The golf crew, 4 tires for Reggie Ruggiero. He was complaining his car had gotten loose over that run, so they tightened him up. Let's go back to Glenn Jarrett.
And Rick Fuller beats him out because he only changed the right rear. Mike Stefanik second, and Reggie Ruggiero comes out third. A little bit of trouble for Conley. In fact, a lot of trouble for Conley. He stalls a little bit getting away, but Tim Conley will go out in 4th position. Mike Uinitsko, the guy having the most problems here, he came in 3rd. He is now back to 6th, 7th. The left side of the car is still up, so they've got a bad problem on the left side there. Oh, he is dropping way, way back in the back. Car is just now down and away for Uinitsko. Terrible, terrible pit stop.
Too bad for Mike Uinitsko, who is leading this event at lap 57. That's also something we're having to take into account here. Heavy, heavy cloud now moving in right over top the New Hampshire International Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. In that kind of a day, there's the Christopher machine, Mike Christopher, who is being pulled up onto the flatbed. He literally ran over one of the corners of the Burt Marvin car after it was sitting off in turn number 4. Marvin has since driven away, as we showed you earlier. So we're at lap number 72 of 100. Tires are fresh. We'll set who's where when we come back to the Magic Mile. We are back, and so is Ted Christopher, who won the Busch North Series portion of the CMT Twin 100s earlier. There you see the other part of the Christopher family now being towed away, Mike Christopher. Here's the scenario. Ted Christopher is a leader. Chris Kopech now in second. Ed Kennedy is running in third. There he is. Now, those 3 plus 10 others who pitted either at lap 23 or lap 37 have stayed on the racetrack. The first driver to pit here in this sequence and come out, Rick Fuller. He is now in 14th position. Glenn Jarrett, a lot of strategy playing out.
Oh, absolutely. And Ted Christopher may be in the catbird seat, Jan Leedy, whatever, but this is the right rear tire off of Mike Stefanik, who was leading when that caution came out. You can see a blister just like the one we saw on Rick Fuller. There's still plenty of rubber on the tire. You can see the tread wear bars there. There's plenty of rubber on the tire. It was just blistering. Saw a similar problem with Tim Conley, but his was on the left front. Let's go to Matt.
Well, Glenn, looking at the Hoosier tires that have come off the Golf 44 car of Reggie Ruggiero, a slight blister on the right rear. You can see here on the outside of the tire. But this could be playing right into the Reg's hands, because they knew if they pitted, they wanted to pit with Mike Stefanik because they were going to take his toe to the front. And that's where they've lined up for some good pit stop from the golf crew.
Yeah, but Stefanik's 15th. Reggie is 16th. It's a big old toe from there in 25 laps. There, as you see how everybody came out, where they were. And remember, the first 13 did not make a stop here. That's why a guy who had a good pit stop will still go from 1st to 15th. He really lost only a couple of spots in the exchange.
Well, we're down to a Saturday night slug out now. 25 laps to go, and I tell you what, it's going to be tough to come to the front. But if anybody can, boy, I tell you, Stefanik's the guy to look for.
The 13 is the race leader. Billy Ryder with the green. And here we go. The number 39, that black car just ahead of the leader, Jerry Marquis, not on the lead lap. He is actually on the tail end of the lead lap, so to be officially is in 26th spot. But the 13 is your race leader, Ted Christopher. Now there you are, middle of the field. Those are the fellows who pitted. There's Stefanik. On the left of the screen, Reggie Ruggiero in the 44. They're going outside of many, around Fuller already, the 21, who was one of the pit men, the guys who pitted most recently. Up front, Chris Kopech now in the 16. He's in second. Ed Kennedy in the 0. He's in third. Charlie Pasteryak in that metallic blue number 5. He's fourth. Oh, and around goes the 82 of Danny Watts Jr. Caution is on the Speedway. Caution is on the Speedway. Turn 2. A good break for Jerry Marquis. He stays on the lead lap, and he'll come all the way around from his 27th spot and assume a position behind everybody else. But caution is out now for the 4th time. It comes out at lap 78. 22 laps to go.
Well, we did see the guys that pitted making a big move up through the pack. But I think it's just going to take a couple laps for getting tires run in, and they're going to be ready to go on this restart here.
Here's what happened. Let's take a look at it. Watching the 82 car.
Oh, a little contact there with Rick Fuller in the 21, the green and white car. As you can see, they just made light contact. He did not want to get into Fuller, so he pinched the car down, bringing the back end around.
We also told you about Jerry Marquis. There he is, making up the lap that he was down. Glenn, how does this caution now figure into everybody's strategy?
Well, it kills the strategy, doesn't kill it, but it certainly does great harm to the strategy of those guys that pitted a while ago. They need green flag laps to be running right now. We only had a couple of laps under caution, but that's 2 laps less that they can use that new rubber to gain position on the racetrack. Can't change right now under caution. So these guys that got the new rubber, they're not able to use it right now. Plus, as we talked about a while ago, the guys up front that did not change, one more chance for them to cool those old tires.
There you see the machines as they work behind the pace car. See those rear spoilers? They're all plexiglass. You can see through those. And there's a good shot from Connolly's car looking back. And there obviously is a reason for that, Brett.
Well, yeah, the driver sits so low, buddy, as you commented earlier. Sits so low in the car. To look out the rearview mirror, if that was a piece of aluminum, you wouldn't see the competition behind you. So NASCAR made them be Lexan, so the driver in the car can see, and the driver from behind can see through that spoiler, the traffic up ahead.
There is a reason for everything on these race cars. Here we go. 20 laps to go. Ted Christopher shows the way. Chris Kopech in the 16. The black and bronze 0 is Kennedy. Ed's going to hang on a second. We're riding with him now.
You can see him coming off turn 2 there. The back of the car is getting very light as they head down into turn 3. That's just an idea of how fast these cars are running down the straightaway. You can tell they're picking them up and putting it down that back straightaway.
Ed Kennedy now with the lead as he comes off the corner. Ed Christopher waiting and watching.
Tony Hirschman jumping up on the outside of Charlie Pasteryak.
19 laps to go. Kennedy's been in this series since 1988. Still has never picked up a victory in his Featherlight Modified Tour career.
Mike Stefanik is all over that lead pack right now.
That's him to the inside. That's him to the outside. That's him in the middle.
What a race. These guys are really bad. Oh, contact between Stefanik and the third car.
These machines always put on some of the best shows here. Look at the 3 going by there, and Tony Hirschman's got something wrong with the roof there.
Well, the post there that holds the front of the is missing.
The right front A-pillar has actually come loose and has been up over the roof of the car. And hopefully that thing's fastened down well enough that it's going to stay on.
He's in second spot, Hirschman is, behind Kennedy.
can tell you it looks pretty good from here. He's running very well. Look back in the pack here. What a noise.
There's Reggie Ruggiero in the 44. He's now in 8th position. Connolly, we're riding with him now. He's in 13th.
He's got trapped on the outside lane behind some slower cars, and he just cannot make any ground through his pack.
Trying to work around Kennedy, who continues as the race leader, is Hirschman. Hirschman has won here 3 times, all in 1996.
Hirschman, for some reason, has learned to draft very, very well, and you can see right now he's given no quarters to anyone, running very well, even though you can see the top of that hood starting to move just a little bit.
Mike Stefanik's got it all the way up to 4th now, and he is really making the moves on the outside.
And this is for the lead as Hirschman tries to challenge Kennedy. Turn 2. Got him. Back straight away. Hirschman, who has had such an unusual year. He's had a series of top 10s, but hasn't won this year. Let's see what happens. It's not over.
That was Stefanik that stuck the nose of his car up there, made it 3 wide, heading down into turn 3. This thing's really getting with it now. Stefanik is there.
14 laps to go and problems. Problems now. Tony Ferrari in the 31. The 98 is Doug French. That is up in the corner.
Jan Leedy spun and is in the wall also.
He has spun in turn number 1. There's Jan. He was running into spot. So caution on the Speedway. Lap number 86 for the 5th time. Jan Leedy spinning in turn 1. Part of a tire that has come loose. And there you see the 31. Still sitting, Tony Ferrari. Franklin Square, New York driver. And the 98 of Doug French.
Ooh, look at the damage to the ladies' car there. You can see the whole back of the car torn up. You can see the tire missing off the wheel. That's it right there.
And there is that tire that came off the 25 of Jan Leedy. As far as Doug French and Ferrari was running back around 28th position at the time of the accident. 30th is where French was showing. And there they assess the situation. Here's what happened on the first spin. Ferrari there, he touched wheels with the 14 of Woolley.
Got turned around backwards and backed up the racetrack. French just had nowhere to go. He locked it up and slid into the side of Tony.
Another angle here. Nowhere to go.
Well, Tony let the car drift up the racetrack, thinking that that would probably be the best thing to do is get it up out of the groove.
So a tough break for French, who is still coming out of the race car. You see Ferrari already standing there, being talked to by the safety officials. What about Jan Leedy's deal there, Glenn?
Well, Eli, when I looked up, he was backwards into the wall. If you can look through my camera, you can see the skid marks about where the red line on the wall starts all the way into the corner. Then you can see where he impacted it at the next red line. He stayed against the wall. I don't know what was wrong. I don't know if he got tangled up with some cars back there coming off of 4. He got the one. He knew he had a problem. He had it locked down trying to stop it, but it turned around, got into the wall, stripped one of the tires off the car. He hit pretty good. I think Jan's okay, but the car is not.
Yeah, we saw Jan climb from the race car before. That's the one thing about this business. You can be running in the top 10 and all of a sudden, even not a problem of your own doing, and you find yourself out of the event. Doug French shaken up there, shaken up just a bit. Shook up is what we say in Alabama, but for the benefit of the rest of America, that would be shaken up.
That works on Lake Norman, too.
88 laps on the board, just a dozen to go.
This is going to be pretty exciting stuff coming down to the finish.
I'll tell you, Tony Hirschman, always a power, but this year it has just not been a spectacular year. He got out of the box with a great second place run at Thompson. Then he finished 21st, 25th, 33rd. He had a second at Stafford, a 7th here, but then he went back to 17th at Riverhead and 21st at the Glen and a 10th at Holland and another 11th at Riverhead. Then a couple of good finishes at New Hampshire again in the Glen. And then Stafford. He was 21st when the day was done. He needs a victory. Maybe today's the day. Caution on the Speedway. 11 left to go. Tony Hirschman to hold off Ed Kennedy. this is going to be good. Oh, this race has been good, but this is going to be good. It'll be down around 10 or 9 laps to go when the field goes back to green. They're still cleaning up out in the corner. Tony Hirschman there in that blue number 3. A veteran team. They've won the title actually the last 3 years. Wayne Anderson from Yaphank, Long Island. He won it. And then Hirschman himself the last couple of years. Ed Kennedy, conversely, there in the Zero, hasn't been around the Tour as much, nor has he been to Victory Lane. Then you've got Pasteryak, Charlie. Then the fellows who stopped, Stefanik and Ruggiero, now 4th and 5th.
It's been really interesting to watch these guys that pitted late work their way up through. They definitely took advantage with their new tires of getting through this traffic. But once they've got to this group, it's kind of been a stalemate. There hasn't been quite as many easy passes as they saw earlier on coming up through. So this is going to be an excellent finish here, and it's going to be hard to pick a winner.
Yeah, you can see on the front of the 44 car there, the grill was absolutely impacted with rubber from buildup on the front of the car. A lot of these cars may be running a little bit hot around here slow.
Glenn, are you hearing any reports about overheating possibilities here?
Absolutely, buddy. You put your finger right on it. Mike Stefanik has radioed in, says his car is running 250. It's got to be pushing some water on this slow. They need to go back to green flag racing, and they're getting ready to do that right now. That should cool them down, but the action is going to be hot.
They're going to get the 1 to go here at lap 91, so they'll go green at 92 in this 100-lap event. This is going to be good. That's all you got to say. This is going to be good. Today we have seen a number of different drivers lead. We've seen a lot of pit strategy. Dan Avery has led. Ted Christopher, Connolly, Stefanik, Iwanitsko. Then Connolly, Stefanik, and Christopher. Now Tony Hirschman. They'll work the back straightaway. If you're just tuning in, we are about 20 minutes behind schedule. Had a brief rain shower cross over the Speedway back at lap number 37, which put us under a red flag condition. Otherwise, it's been a very, very good race.
There we see the A-post still bent up over the roof of the 3-car of Tony Hirschman, but evidently the roof's secure enough that it's not going to come flying up.
Pace car now beginning to pull away. Field will have lap 92 on the board as they get set to come to the green.
Oh boy, look how close they are, nose to tail here, fixing to get the green.
Green flag from Billy Ryder. Hirschman the leader, Kennedy in 2nd, Charlie Pasteryak 3rd, Stefanik 4th, Ruggiero 5th.
Stefanik making a move on the outside there to take the 3rd spot away from that.
From Pasteryak, right, if he can get by him.
Almost made it.
Boy, he's really working well on that outside lane. Those new tires are really showing up here in the late stages.
Yeah, he's going to be hard to hold back. You can see Stefanik on the outside. He does not have a line that he prefers right now. He'll try the outside here to take over 2nd.
Around Ed Kennedy, the Texas driver. Ruggiero in the 44. He's in 4th. Kennedy says,
Reggie, what a move.
Look at the Reg to the inside. When Stefanik got hung up, Reggie saw an opening.
Went 4th to 2nd, going into the 3rd. He's on the inside of the lead.
Wow.
6 laps to go now.
Here we go. Reggie's on the inside.
Reggie Ruggiero. Oh, and Patty into Hirschman. Around goes Rick Fuller. He's into the wall. Everybody else on the binders. And caution is on the Speedway. Fuller was running in 6th.
Eli, you could almost feel that coming. They were really, really trying so hard there. It was a matter of inches, and when one backed off, the other one checked up a little bit. There was contact, and that's what happened there.
Caution for the 6th time. The Reg is leading the event at lap number 95.
All the way from his 37 starting position to the front. It took him only 95 laps to get there, but he made it.
And that smoke you see, some is coming from Rick Fuller's ears right now, I bet you. He's disappointed. Watch it again. Kennedy in the 0.
He got in the back of Hirschman. Got Hirschman, turned around backwards. And back in the pack, it was a chain reaction. The 21 car obviously checked up when he saw the trouble and someone got in the back of him. know, the 21 cars there on the inside.
Okay,
right
you
behind
see the 0, the black and gold car there. Get into Hirschman and turn him sideways. This is the trigger for everything that happened, right?
Charlie Pastrak's the one that got into the back of the 21 car and turned him around, sent him into the outside wall. But, you know, everybody's trying to slow up and avoid the wreck, and it's hard to not have contact in that situation.
Now we'll see how Ed Kennedy saw it. Just like we saw it. So Reggie Ruggiero started 37. And the first time today that he has led comes out at lap number 95. Of course, Reggie is the man here. There's Rick Fuller.
How wide do you think Reggie is going to be here the last 3 or 4 laps? He'll look like a tractor trailer to the guys trying to get by him.
Cleanup is going to take a bit. Yeah, you guys are leading. And I bet it's going to give you a cardiac. We'll come right back. They have just put the green in the air. It's a green-white checker finish here for the NASCAR Featherweight Modified Tour. Reggie Ruggiero in the 44. 16th race that he has led at this racetrack. Ed Kennedy in second. That's Stefanik in the 6th, running third. Charlie Pastrak is 4th. Chris Kopech is 5th. White flag in the air. One more time around. Kennedy trying to protect second spot against Stefanik.
Some serious blocking going on there.
Kennedy's never won on the tour.
Whoa, you can see Stefanik get very loose there in turn 2. He drops back a little bit.
Yeah, he lost a lot of momentum. He's in jeopardy of losing third place.
Charlie Pastrak in the 5. Up front, there's Reggie Ruggiero. Through turn 4, he's going to keep Kennedy at bay. The Reg comes from 37th to win. Kennedy is second. Stefanik comes home in third spot with Dan Avery just nudging Pastrak at the stripe for 4th and 5th. We'll talk more about it, but Brett Bodine, I know you've got to get downstairs and get things further dialed in. Starting third tomorrow. Do good, all right?
Thanks, Eli.
Good to see you. Brett Bodine joining us here at New Hampshire International Speedway. We are going to go to Victory Lane and talk about it with Reggie Ruggiero. The Gulf team wins. We all won. We saw a great race. We're coming right back. Well, he earned it. He said to us in the pre-race, Glenn, I'm just going to have to come from the back and give everybody a show. How about it?
Well, what a show. Not too shabby, Reg, from 37th provisional spot to Victory Lane. What a great run.
I tell you what, this Gulf Oils Pontiac was just awesome today. We had a bad starting spot, started way in the back, and knew we just had to pick our spots and just stay out of trouble all day. After we pitted for tires, the Hoosier tires, I knew we were going to be faster than Goodyear. Boy, this car was hooked up.
You were following Mike Stefanik after that restart there. You guys came up through there pretty quickly, but then you saw your chance. You made your move. Tell us about it.
Yeah, he was following another Hoosier car, and he got to go outside, and I see that he was a little bit slick on the outside, and I went to the bottom, roughed my way through a little bit. You know, that's racing here, and got to the lead, and then they had the accident, green-white checker. That was to my advantage. Good victory today for Hoosier, Pontiac, and Gulf Oil.
Well, you had a 3 victory. You ended it a couple weeks ago, but another one here today. Looks like it's over for good, buddy.
Yeah, the Reg is back.
I think that says it all, Eli. The Reg is back.
And a big old smile. Let's take a look at the final rundown and see how everybody did. Dan Avery in 4th, Charlie Pastrak in 5th, Connolly backslid to 7th, blew it with a good run in 9th, Worley in 10th. There you see Provino Uinitsko, who led for a while. He'll come home in the 12th spot. Ted Christopher in 15th. Jerry Marquis made up that lap, comes home in 18th spot. And now some of the other fellows who had problems earlier in the day. Tom Bowles in 22nd. Jamie the Jet with the early problem for that plug wire in 28th spot. And there you see how everybody comes home. The other part of the, there's Fuller in 31st. Jan Lady in 32nd. Carl Pastrak down there in the 40th position. And let's take a look at how the points look right now. Of course, Mike Stefanik, who leads the Busch North Series points, has now a 236-point advantage on Tim Connolly. Tell you, Buddy Baker, every time we come here, the modifieds get better and better.
You know, you hate to see the white flag come out. The racing's so good. And the modifieds, we don't get to see them that much, but what a great race.
Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be with you. We certainly hope you can make your plans to join us at 12:30 Eastern Time as the NASCAR Winston Cup teams will be going to work. That is tomorrow with the CMT 300. Ken Schrader is on the Busch pole. Ted Christopher won the Busch North Series race. Reggie Ruggiero winning the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. Now for you, we invite you to stay tuned. Hot Rod TV, Joined in Progress, is coming up next. For Brett Bodine, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, and Matt Yoakum, I'm Eli Gold. Thanks for spending your afternoon with us. We'll see you tomorrow at 12:30. Winston Cup Racing back on TNN Motorsports. We'll see you tomorrow.